and to get this event underway,
Floyd Vale, NAPA Auto Parts Store, owner from Palm Spring, the Grand Marshal honorary starter of today's NAPA 500, presented here at California Speedway.
In celebration to NAPA Auto Parts 75th anniversary, gentlemen, start your engine!
With those words, the 10th event of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series for the year 2000 is about to get underway. Mark Martin is atop the point standings by 24 over Bobby Labonte. Defending series champion Dale Jarrett in the 6th of the point standings, having moved up one spot after last week's race at Talladega. 7 of the top 10 positions are separated by less than 25 points. Hi everyone, I'm Bob Jenkins. Welcome to a beautiful day in Southern California. NASCAR has raced in this area for many years. Ontario Motor Speedway was not too far from here, and of course the series competed many times at the road course at Riverside, but this is only the 4th event here at California Speedway. The winners have been Jeff Gordon in the inaugural race and last year, and Mark Martin in 1998. So who's going to win today? Well, there are 43 hopefuls. They're challenged by 500 miles on this 2-mile track in the NAPA Auto Parts 500. Back for the start in a moment. The 43 cars begin to move out on the racetrack as we get set to start this event. Now, this track here in Southern California near Fontana is 2 miles in length. The front stretch, which is actually in an arc, is 3,100 feet. The back stretch, 2,500. Banking in the corners only at 14 degrees, and through the tri-oval here in front of the main grandstand, it's banked at 11 degrees. Let's take a look now at the Walmart Tire and Lube Express grid. On the pole, the 8th driver to win a pole in the year 2000 is Mike Skinner. On the outside of row number 1, Jimmy Spencer with his best start since Phoenix in November of 1997. In the second row, Ricky Rudd, who finished 3rd in the first California race here in 97, and Ward Burton, who has 6 top 10s this year. Mark Martin starts on the inside of row number 3, the 1998 race winner here, and Scott Pruitt, his only experience on this racetrack was in the kart series. Row number 4, Darrell Waltrip, 5th place in the 1998 race at this facility, and Stacy Compton, the highest qualifying rookie, his first top 10 start this year. Back in row number 5, we have Steve Park, 2nd California Winston Cup race, and John Andretti, his best start here at California. Back in the 6th row, Rusty Wallace, his best California finish is 11th, and outside of row number 6 is Bobby Hamilton. As we look at the rest of the starting lineup, we mentioned how beautiful a day it is here, but it is windy. And Benny, I've been noticing that the flags are shifting from one position to another in the breeze.
And that could be critical because right now the winds are blowing behind the cars going down to turn 1, the longest straightaway, which is where they turn the most RPM. So a wind at their tail, a tailwind, will turn the engine even more RPMs. So if they could catch a break and catch that wind going down the backstretch, a tailwind, that would even the RPMs out.
Joe Nemechek was the 1997 pole winner here at California. Kyle Petty was the fastest second-round qualifier yesterday. Back in the 16th row, Tony Stewart, who finished 4th in this race last year. And in the 17th row, a couple of former champions, including the defending series champion Dale Jarrett and Terry Labonte.
And this is the car that Terry Labonte is driving, is the car that he sat on the pole with at Texas just about a month ago. So it was very difficult trying to find exactly the combination to get around the racetrack here on Friday afternoon.
And here are the provisional starters. Back in the 21st row, Kenny Wallace and Dick Trickle. And the 43rd starter today is going to be Mike Bliss, who has competed in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at this facility. 3 drivers failed to qualify: Ed Barrier, Dwayne Like, who is a Winston West competitor, and also Dave Marcus. Well, the 27 car of Mike Bliss is already on pit road, and the hood is up, and that's certainly not a good early indication. They have it all bundled up once again, and he goes back out onto the racetrack. Let's run through our onboard cameras.
Bobby Labonte, the Circuit City onboard, starts in 36th position. Dale Jarrett, the Ford Quality Care, starts back in 33rd. Tony Stewart has the Home Depot onboard camera, 32nd. Bill Elliott, Mickey D's, McDonald's on board, 27th he'll start. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the Budweiser on board camera. He starts 20th today. Rick Mast, great qualifying run for the Conseco car. He starts 15th. Jeff Burton has a Parts Plus camera. Uh-oh, there he is. He will start 13th anyway. Jeff Burton will. Rusty Wallace, he starts 11th with a Miller Lite on board camera. And Mark Martin has an onboard camera here this afternoon. He starts in the 5th spot. Mark has the Valvoline onboard camera. And our pole sitter, Mike Skinner, the Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse.
Well, in less than a lap now, we'll get the green flag and be underway for 250 laps of racing, 500 miles. The purse exceeds $3 million. Fuel window is between 48 and 52 circuits, and Jeff Gordon set the race record here in 1997.
And Ray, that is critical. 48 to 52. It needs to say 50 to think you have a chance to win.
Benny, you've got to make that 50 lap mark, or you will have to make one more stop than everybody else.
Let's get down to Jerry Punch.
Guys, yesterday in the final practice session, our Winston Cup points leader, Mark Martin, had a problem. The engine was about 250 to 300 RPMs down on what he needed coming off the corner. Now, they did not change the engine last night as we thought they might. They took the valve tray off, the valley tray off, took the valve covers off, checked the lifters and the valve springs. They changed the cowl, did some things with the intake, but basically left the same motor in. A lot of concern. This engine may be very flat when we wave the green flag, and if it is, it could be a very, very long day for our Winston Cup points leader, Mark Martin.
Well, with more than 86,000 fans on hand here at the California Speedway, we're set for racing on this Sunday morning here in Southern California. Here's part of the 86,000 people that have poured into the facility.
In the grandstands, that's what it seats. I don't know how many more would be in the infield here today.
Quite a few thousand, because there are lots of campers over in the backstretch area. All right, pace car pulls off the track onto the pit area. The crowd rises, and Mike Skinner leads them down for the green flag. There it is, and we're underway in the NAPA Auto Parts 500. Spencer and Skinner are staying together through the first and second turns. Down the backstretch they go. Still no clear advantage to either driver. They run wheel to wheel into turn number 3. Now Skinner gets a half car length advantage.
Oh, Skinner almost loses it. Wow, that was close.
That opens up the door for Jimmy Spencer to come down and lead lap number 1. Here comes Mark Martin to the inside. He's gone to third as Ricky Rudd has slid in right behind Spencer into second spot. Three-way battle here for the third spot. And look at Darrell Waltrip there in the 66 car. Waltrip has quite a record here at California Speedway in the first 3 races. Of the 30 drivers who have competed in all 3 events so far, Darrell Waltrip has the 4th best average finish. And now Ward Burton takes the position away from Skinner.
And here comes Skinner back on the inside. Folks, I can't tell you what a fantastic job that was by Mike Skinner to save that car last lap.
And ready in the 43 car. Look at this, 4 wide as they head for the corner.
Boys, I think you better funnel down to about 2 when you get there. Man.
And Scott Pruitt up there in the Tide ride. Bobby Hamilton in front of him. Stacy Compton in the 9 car, a rookie on board with Rusty Wallace, who's in this gaggle of cars back at about 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and on back.
Dale Earnhardt high on the racetrack. He's lost 3 spots since the very beginning of the race, although it's early on, it's hard to tell.
John has an update on the 27 car.
Bob, before the race got underway, we saw Mike Bliss come down on pit road. Barry Dodson and crew popped the hood open. No problem in the engine compartment. Actually, what they were doing was making an adjustment to the camber, taking some camber out of it to try and tighten the car up. Because Barry Dodson, the crew chief, says that the track today, with as hot as it is going to be very, very loose. So they wanted to tighten the car up.
There's the tail of the field with Mike Bliss and Kyle Petty up front. Here's Jimmy Spencer leading Ricky Rudd and Mark Martin, with Skinner the pole sitter back in fourth spot. John Andretti at the 5th position.
We see eBay on the onboard camera. They announced here on Friday afternoon that put a lot of racing memorabilia on auction at eBay, and all the money goes to some charity.
Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America, and Valvoline donates money to that organization for every lap that Mark Martin leads, and for every pole he gets, and for every race he wins. So indeed, Big Brothers and Big Sisters are benefiting from a great year so far for Mark Martin. There's Steve Park running in the 8th position. Then there is 9th place, Rusty Wallace. Right back of him is Jeff Burton.
So on board with Rusty Wallace, our Jimmy Dean telemetry. We'll watch as he comes down the front stretch. What's the miles per hour? 191, 195, 198, 200 miles per hour. Now just touched it brakes. Car will slow down to about 160, and he will start accelerating down the backstretch. And he's doing 160. Well, that means Jeff Burton must be doing 162 or 3.
Tried to get to the inside and take the position away from Rusty, but was unable to do so. Now he does at the end of the backstretch. Meanwhile, Martin goes for the top spot as Spencer almost gets up in that loose stuff in the gray area. And here comes Ricky Rudd, the 2nd position.
Now Mike Skinner once again is going to try to pass Jimmy Spencer. And John Andretti, the STP, number 43, has a great run going. On board with Mike Skinner as he looks back at Ward Burton. Still not able to clear Jimmy Spencer. This time he does. Ray, it looks like that Jimmy Spencer's car is getting a little bit loose up on top of the racetrack.
I think we noticed something yesterday. The speed seems so fast here with this tire. A car doesn't really have to be right on your bumper to make you loose. And we've noticed that cars within a car length or two of the guy that's leading is making that guy loose. He heats up his right rear tire, and it takes him a little while to cool that and come back. We saw Mike Skinner get very loose. Now he's marching back towards the front.
This is 5th on back. Ward Burton, Jimmy Spencer, John Andretti, Steve Park, and Jeff Burton. Now this is when Burton went around Rusty Wallace at the end of the backstretch. And look at that.
Just take that lane right down there, Jeff.
It's yours. And up front, we have a new leader as Ricky Rudd takes the top position. So already in the 9 laps that we've run so far, 3 different leaders. Now, why would Rusty do that?
Ray, do you think that Rusty was a little bit loose? He did not want Jeff Burton to get too close to him and loosen him up even more?
I would say that's exactly what it was, Benny. A little too early in the run. He did not want Jeff Burton right behind him going into turn 3.
What happens when you pull up right behind someone? It really makes that car in front loose, or that car in front will want to spin out. It takes air, the downforce that's on the rear of the car, it takes that away. And folks, it is amazing how much it takes away.
Well, for the first time since Texas in March of this year, Ricky Rudd is leading an NASCAR Winston Cup race. Mark Martin, Mike Skinner, Ward Burton, and John Andretti in the top 5. The 14th lap has just been completed here at the NAPA Auto Parts 500 California Speedway in Fontana. Ricky Rudd is your leader by a few car lengths over Mike Skinner and Ward Burton. Now back here at about 17th, 18th, and 19th, some good racing going on. That's Matt Kenseth going to the inside of Stacy Compton. And we're on board with Bill Elliott. Also involved in this little battle here is Michael Waltrip, who, by the way, is celebrating a birthday today. This is his 37th birthday. And Michael there in the number 7 car. Tony Stewart is running up there in the 17th spot.
He worked his way through these cars and is now trying to pull away from them.
Now Elliott goes to the inside of Michael Waltrip. Board with Tony Stewart, looking back on Matt Kenseth, who won the Busch race here at California Speedway yesterday.
And look at Kenseth just try to go by on the outside. Pretty close. Much closer. It looked closer than it actually was. And Kenseth now goes in front.
Have caught up to the number 9 car, and here comes Dale Jarrett also entering this little battle here.
Started 33rd. He's currently running in 22nd. That's 21, 20, 19. Right direct in front of him. Now, as you get these guys side by side, is he going in the middle? Ooh, I thought he would go on the inside, make it 3 wide. He decided to follow Bill Elliott.
Very obvious where the groove is here. That's the darker area up at the top of the racetrack. It's gray and a little slicker, but Ray, isn't that going to move up as we go through the afternoon?
Bob, you see some guys already trying to move it up a little bit. They've been working that thing up since Friday. They've actually got it probably 10, 15 feet wider than it was Friday when we got here. You'll see guys who have cars that are a little bit tight or even a little bit loose start to use that outside groove.
And Bobby Labonte, Circuit City onboard camera, started back in 36th. And right now he's trying to take over the 22nd position.
And Dale Jarrett looks to move up another notch as he goes to the inside of Bill Elliott. And Elliott testing that upper groove.
Easy ever.
Right in front of that group is this foursome: Kenseth, Johnny Benson, Ken Schrader, and Tony Stewart.
So Kenseth and Stewart right now are just marching through the field. That's 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th. When you go in the corner, you might be faster, but when you go in the corner, oh, Mike Skinner, he's getting closer and closer to Ricky Rudd.
Bill Weber has a comment on Ricky Rudd, who's under fire right now from Skinner.
Well, first of all, Bob, a big roar from the 28 pit when Rudd zoomed into the lead. He's in a brand new car that has never been on the track. Rudd now falling back a little bit, and the reason for that is his car is very loose off. It was a little bit loose, then it got worse. His crew chief told him the next set of tires should tighten that car up just a little bit. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. The 28 car loose, starting to slide back a little bit, but he did get those 5 bonus points to Jerry Carnes.
We chronicled Mark Martin's concern over the engine that didn't run well in happy hour yesterday. If you were to poll the team, everyone wanted to change the motor except one guy. But he signed the check, Jack Roush. He said, no, we'll make a few subtle changes, but this is the motor we need to run here at California. Well, with 20 laps in the books, Mark Martin has already led a lap, so the engine is running fine. Now he has backslid in the field for 6th spot, primarily because the car is very, very loose. But the engine is okay right now for our points leader. John Kernan.
Jerry, Dale Earnhardt started 35th today. He has moved up to the 32nd, but he has a handful with that race car. It'll get into the corner all right for him. But from the middle of the corner to the exit of the corner, the car is extremely loose. So they would like to see a caution here soon so they can get Earnhardt on pit road and make some adjustments to try and tighten that car up.
We're back here at 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th now. Jimmy Spencer, Rusty Wallace, Bobby Hamilton, and Jeff Gordon. Meanwhile, John Andretti and Ward Burton are going to swap positions here. The 2nd spot.
And you see Ricky Rudd is now slid back to the, what's that, 5th position. Well, not so quick. Park hasn't taken it over yet, but I think he will, because Rudd being his, and Gordon going by Rusty Wallace, moves him into the 11th position.
Jeff Gordon started in the 26th position, just failing to make first round qualifying, but he's about to pick off the 10th place car here of Bobby Hamilton. And he does. And so put Jeff Gordon now in the top 10 at the end of 22 laps. Meanwhile, Ward Burton and Steve Park have got a good battle going here for the 3rd position. And boy, Steve Park is very, very good in the year 2000.
He's been very impressive. Look at Andretti up, not even in the gray, I mean, the edge of the gray area. He's all in the gray area.
Got all 4 wheels up in that gray area. Well, it's Skinner back in front here at the California Speedway with John Andretti hitting second, then Park, Rudd, and Burton. And we'll be back after these messages and a word from our ABC stations. Welcome back to the California Speedway, where Mike Skinner continues to lead this race. We're watching from the Pennzoil copter cam that will be providing the aerial shots all race long. Mike has about a 3/4 of a second lead on John Andretti, and the 3rd car there, the yellow number 1, is Steve Park.
And don't you know, the Red Cross people are loving this Mike Skinner leading the race. So far, he's led about 8 laps, which is a little over $8,000 donation to the American Red Cross.
Car is now beginning to get strung out just a little bit. Back here we have a side-by-side battle coming off corner number 4. That's Tony Stewart to the inside of Rusty Wallace as they try to figure out who runs 13th.
Well, I think right now, I don't know who's got it. Rusty had a little bit of advantage, but here comes Tony on the inside. He obviously has a shorter route, and he will take that spot away.
So put him up to 13th. He started back in the 32nd position.
Tony Stewart looks back. He's running on the bottom of the racetrack, and look how high that Rusty Wallace drifted up the racetrack. He and also Robert Preston, that Jasper car. That's a blue car right behind the 2. I started to say the number 77, but you can't see the 77.
It's very difficult. On board with Dale Jarrett now. And Bobby Labonte running right behind Jarrett. Labonte lost the points lead at Talladega 2 weeks ago. Up ahead of him, side by side, Presley and Elliott slides in ahead of Robert.
You saw that lap a moment ago on the graphic with Bobby Labonte at 172.0. That was a faster lap than the leaders ran that particular lap.
The car on the move is Jeremy Mayfield. There he is in the number 12 Oval 1. He is up to the 5th position. And Bill Weber has more on Mayfield.
Bob, he has come marching through the field. Very quiet on the radio, but very fast on the racetrack. He was the fastest car in happy hour. He has really just sliced his way from 24th to 5th. Of course, this is the highlight of the last 2 weeks for him. That Mobil 1 team under the microscope after NASCAR announced they had a, quote, issue, unquote, with the fuel taken from the 12 car at Talladega. Mayfield won the pole there and finished 15th. NASCAR is still investigating the matter and could make an announcement next week. The team has no comment, but speculation is the penalties could be very harsh. Mayfield is racing today, not knowing what tomorrow may bring, but he is racing right toward the front.
Made a nice advancement so far, but his teammate Rusty Wallace, well, he's been dropping back a few positions. He's back to 21st, and here he is losing at least 1 to Bill Elliott.
Well, and here's the reason. We see Bill Elliott get right behind Rusty Wallace, take that air off the spoiler, and Rusty has no choice but chase that car up the hill and try to save the car rather than try and stay in front of these guys. And they're 1, 2, 3, 4 spots right behind.
Earlier we saw him point Jeff Burton to go around him so he wouldn't be behind him going in the corner. What happens when a car gets up behind another car? It doesn't let the air come down and get on the rear spoiler. It makes it go over both cars and takes away a lot of downforce off the rear of those cars.
On board with Jeff Burton, running in 6th.
His brother Ward right behind him. He is fallen back now to the 7th position.
These two brothers were fighting it out for the lead in the NASCAR Busch Series race here yesterday. Ward was leading and spun, and again there was no contact. It just appeared that the air got taken off his spoiler, and around he went in turn 4. More Jimmy Dean telemetry here as we take a look down the back stretch. Into the corner now. Another car that's made a great advancement is Matt Kenseth there in the number 17 car, catching up to Ward Burton. And Ray, you've been noticing that while we see a lot of cars that are working in that higher groove, Matt has been, for the most part, right down on the bottom of the track.
Yeah, he's going right around down bottom left side wheels on the white line all the way around. He's making up a lot of time. He started, though, back around 23rd, I believe, and he's made past everybody on the very bottom of the racetrack.
He picks up another position, going, well, almost.
Not so fast, Bob. Here comes Ward back on the outside. Now, this corner coming off turn 4 will help Matt Kenseth a great deal coming off the bottom of the racetrack, because the corner just keeps going out towards the tri-oval and will help him keep the back under the car.
And he does take the position away, and Mark Martin also gets around Ward Burton. And there is another example of some running down on the low side, and John Andretti, who's been up in that light gray all afternoon long, but it's working for him.
It really is. Watch just how much more momentum he has down the backstretch on Mike Skinner. And when he goes up that high in the corner, he has to go such a greater distance around the racetrack that allows Mike Skinner to run about the same speed. But once again, we'll see Andretti come off that corner with that great run, the great momentum.
Benny, by running up top, not on the bottom, he's abusing the tires less. He's not creating as much heat, as much tire wear, and plus being way up there by the wall is probably something the King told him to do, because that 43 when the King was driving it was always up there by the fence.
That's right. Well, he's got a good run here, and it looks like John Andretti is going to take the lead. And if he leads a lap when he comes down to the start-finish line, it will be the first time that he has led in the year 2000. So Andretti, well, I don't know. He's up again in that light gray, but it appears as if he is going to get a good run off the corner and hold Skinner at bay. And John Andretti indeed leads the lap, and so that's the first lap that he has led in the year 2000, the first since Homestead in November last year. Skinner second, Steve Park, Ricky Rudd, Jeff Burton, Jeremy Mayfield, Matt Kenseth, Mark Martin, Jimmy Spencer, and Ward Burton. With 40 laps gone here at the California Speedway, John Andretti leads. Mike Skinner running second, and Steve Park is third. And we are under caution for the first time here at the California Speedway in the NAPA Auto Parts 500. The number 14 car of Rick Mast has some smoke coming out of it and is going down through pit road. There he is, coming to a stop.
Well, they're going to work on it like the engine is not blown, like he has an oil line or just has an oil leak. It certainly looked like that he blew up.
This, of course, is the A.J. Foyt-owned team, and they have undergone many changes in the past few weeks. Felipe Lopez is now the crew chief on this car, and there's the evidence of the smoke off the second corner.
It could be that he just blew an oil line off or something, because obviously the car was still running, and the crew now has raised the hood, going to look on the left side.
Could possibly be power steering, Benny.
In any case, the track officials want to find out if there's any fluid down on the racetrack, and it has brought out the caution. So the pace car has picked up the field now over in turn number 3. And we should be seeing some pit stops, and really pretty well timed, too, on the 41st lap.
We were looking at a fuel window of 48 to 52. Now this, if it goes green, could give us a fuel mileage race.
It really could, because the guys that can run 53 or 54
they can make it. The guys that can only run 48 or 50 definitely can.
Can't they? Yeah, this could really play into those guys getting great fuel mileage.
You've seen that so many times at Michigan, and we say again that this track is very similar to Michigan. Look at this. Only the pace cars on the racetrack.
That is so funny.
Let's go to John Kernan.
Tony Stewart slides into his pits. We expect no adjustments. He told Greg Zipadelli, his crew chief, he was really happy with the car. It started 22nd, moved all the way up to 10th. They swing around now to the left side. See no adjustment so far for Tony Stewart. Cleaning off the grill. 4 tires going on. He's full of fuel. Let's go down to Dr. Jerry Fox.
Triple pits, Andretti, Skinner, and Park. Pontiac, Chevrolet. Now Mike Skinner in the middle of your picture. Left side tires going on. Slide air pressure adjustment to Bill Weber.
John Andretti has stopped on his air hose. The leader of the race is stuck on his air hose. They're going to have to change guns because they weren't getting air to the right front tire. Long stop for Andretti, a heartbreaker. Almost all the field is away, still working on the right side of the race leader. Now that air gun gets hooked on the bumper. They come around to the left side. A long stop for John Andretti. His car was tight. They did make a wedge adjustment and an air pressure adjustment, but he will be all the way in the back of the field after his car stopped on the air hose.
Wow, and that is a tough break from first almost back to the very last.
Wow. That is unbelievable.
Well, one car besides the pace car did stay out there. Chad Little chose not to make a pit stop. And by the way, Chad Little is also celebrating a birthday today. Now watch this.
Tire.
There you see, right on top. The left front tire sitting right on top of the air hose. They had to bring the gun back from the rear to change the right front tire. Man, tough break.
Running right ahead of John Andretti is a multi-colored car. This is Joe Nemechek, and that thing changes colors as it goes down the racetrack. First it's purple, and then it's brown, and then it's blue, and it's quite colorful.
And I've got to take credit for a rookie mistake yesterday. I said that car was painted with DuPont Chrome Illusion, and I apologize to the people at Sickens. That's actually painted by Sickens. So take the yellow scrap and put it back on my back.
And the 12 car of Jeremy Mayfield is making a return visit to pit road.
Wow.
And Bill Weber is there.
Earlier in the race, Jeremy Mayfield had reported that the oil temperature was starting to climb. They said they believed it was going to be okay, that it might have been a problem with the gauge. They came in, they made their stop. Now he's come back to pit road. They're going under the hood. They have a lot of time here. They're going to check for any loose fitting. So Mayfield sits here on pit road. Caution at California. Chad Little scored as the leader. We'll be right back to Fontana.
Just as you rejoin us, the green flag comes back out for resumption of the NAPA Auto Parts 500 here at California Speedway. Green coming out on lap number 46. Skinner is up front with Ricky Rudd, Mark Martin, Jimmy Spencer, and Steve Park in tow. The 112 car of Jeremy Mayfield a lap down, but he gets past the leader, and so is at the tail end of the lead lap.
So the work that the crew was doing on the Mobile 1 Ford Taurus took more than they expected. He did lose a lap, but if he can stay there and hope for another caution flag under NASCAR rules, he can go all the way around, close up on the back of the field, make it almost 2 miles.
And Bill Weber has more.
Well, Benny and Ray, the oil temperature was continuing to climb in that car, so what they did, they went under the hood to try and bypass a valve that sends oil through the oil cooler. Apparently that line was plugged, so they went under the hood, tried to bypass that. They got it hooked up, they got the hood down, but he did not get to the end of pit road in time before the stop sign came out, and that's why he lost a lap. But they think they have cured the overheating problem, but they're watching it closely.
Here is Bill Elliott, Bobby Hamilton, and Robert Presley running together. Now, John Andretti, who was running up front before those pit stops, and he had the problem with the air hose, he has dropped all the way back to the 32nd position, and he was 35th these past 3 cars just in the last 2 laps, and so Andretti loses a lot of track position, and has a long way to go back up to the front. And the one car of Steve Park is at the top of the racetrack and losing his spot to Tony Stewart.
And we see just before these pit stops, we saw the tires with the cars with the used tires, how the top of the racetrack was the fastest way around. Now with these cold tires, the cars are running back on the bottom of the racetrack. Now, in a few laps, some of them will go back to the top, and some of them will be adjusted so they can stay on the bottom of the racetrack.
Mike Skinner has separated himself from the rest of the field. There is second place Mark Martin, but the interval back from first to second is almost 1 3/4 seconds. On board with Mark Martin, looking back on Jimmy Spencer.
Like Jimmy Spencer and his crew, Johnny Wingo and the crew had a great pit stop. Spencer falling back to somewhere around 10th. After the pit stop is up to the 3rd spot, trying to take over 2nd.
Jimmy Spencer coming off his best finish of the year 2000 2 weeks ago at Talladega. He finished 5th, and that moved him up 5 positions in point standings. He's now up in the top 20. And Rick Mast has taken his car behind a wall. John, what's the problem?
Bob, it was not a blown engine. Believe it or not, they split an oil line on the engine. I asked Felipe Lopez what in the world would cause that, and he said, well, it's not because it was a used part, because the line that split open was brand new. So they're replacing that, putting the oil back into the car. They don't think they hurt the engine at all, so they're going to fill it back up with oil and get that fixed and get back out onto the racetrack. But very disappointment for the team that has undergone numerous changes in the last couple of weeks.
And at the completion of 50 laps, his is the only car not on the racetrack, and we have all 42 cars remaining out there on the lead lap, although Mayfield is, as we indicated, almost a lap down. Well, here comes Jeff Gordon. He and Tony Stewart have been running together for the last several laps before the pit stop, and now after the pit stop. They're currently 6th and 7th.
But they aren't that far away from the 2nd place car of Jimmy Spencer. You can see that at the very back of the picture, there's Tony Stewart. There's Jeff Burton. He's running in the 4th position. This is Parts Plus onboard camera. Right now, he's getting his challenge from his teammate, Mark Martin.
Jerry has more on Mark Martin.
In the pit stop a moment ago on lap 42, Mark Martin, who had complained that his car was very, very loose, got the adjustments he wanted. But the crew's concerned they may have made a little too much of a change. They put 2 rounds of bite in to try to tighten the car up, and also made an air pressure change in the right front. The big concern is, did they get Mark Martin too tight? Will the car have problems turning coming off the corner? Let's check in with Bill.
Ricky Rudd was loose, bad loose. He got 4 tires. They made a track bar adjustment. They went down 1 round on the right side. The car was really loose coming off the turn. Ricky said, if we can get it tight enough, I'll be a lot faster. They had a good stop. They picked up a couple of positions in the pits. He's lost 1 on the racetrack. We'll see what happens on the long run.
Rudd currently in the 3rd position. And Jimmy Spencer there in 2nd now sees more than 2.5 seconds between himself and the leader, Mike Skinner. So Skinner is pulling away from the field. And once again, a battle between, well, almost a battle between Spencer, Tony Stewart, and Jeff Gordon.
Bobby Labonte has just taken over the 9th spot from Steve Park in the Pennzoil car. And here comes Dale Jarrett right behind. Currently in the 11th spot.
John Kernan, the 18 car, now up in 9th spot.
Bob, that was after making an adjustment on the pit stop that was very, very minor. Bobby says the car seems to get better during a run. So all Jimmy Maycar decided to do was take a pound of air pressure out of the left rear tire. Bobby very, very happy with that car. Has sliced his way through the field, much like his teammate Tony Stewart. So both of the Joe Gibbs cars are marching their way from the back of the pack at the start to near the front.
All of a sudden, Jeff Gordon is getting the challenge from Matt Kenseth.
Despite the fact that Dale Earnhardt Jr. has won a race in his rookie year, Matt Kenseth leads the rookie point standings. 5 times this year, he has been the top finishing rookie. Steve Park and Bobby Labonte contesting the 9th position as Dale Jarrett looks on.
Jarrett pulls in right behind. You see, we talk about taking air off the spoiler. That was close enough to take some air off that rear spoiler.
It really was, Benny. He was up against him pretty good, but the one car seems pretty stable. It did not wiggle much getting in the corner.
Here's Ricky Rudd looking to the inside of Spencer for second. Doesn't have quite the power to do it.
I'm told that coming through 3 and 4 that Ricky Rudd ran high and got that great run, that momentum we've seen before, and then dove down on the inside of Jimmy Spencer. Didn't quite work.
Benny, we heard lots of guys that started in the top 10 talk about having loose cars at the first run of the race. When you qualify in the top 10, NASCAR has your tires, so you have to start the race on the same tires you qualified on. They would be scuffed. Some of the other guys could start on stickers. What we might have been seeing is just a difference in the temperature of today's racetrack on a scuffed tire versus a sticker tire.
Well, Mike Skinner has now lengthened his lead to 2.6 seconds over this group of cars led by Jimmy Spencer. There on the far left is Jeremy Mayfield, who is again at the tail end of the lead lap. He wants to see a caution so that he can make his way all the way around the racetrack. But Mike Skinner right now 2.6 seconds ahead of Jimmy Spencer. More after these messages and a word from our ABC stations. Back at the California Speedway in the NAPA Auto Parts 500, there's the leader of the race, Mike Skinner, with now a 4.5 second advantage on second place, Mark Martin.
But right here we saw Jeremy Mayfield pass Mike Skinner. He's in front of the leader, and Skinner is not running him down. So not only does Jeremy Mayfield, we may need a caution flag to get the second fastest car up with the leader.
Yep.
But if he goes back, if Jeremy Mayfield has to go back to the rear of the field and start 42nd, 41st, and work his way back through the field, it would be very difficult to do. Just like John Andretti, as fast as he was, we saw him make that bad pit stop. He's only worked his way back up to 34th.
Well, we have a horse race here, and there's one coming up on Saturday, live at 4:30, the 126th running of the Kentucky Derby with Fushiashi Pegasus. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm going to let you pronounce that next time, BP.
Yeah, right.
Will he break the 20-year curse of the favorite, or can top contenders like High Yield, House Hope, and Aptitude steal the spotlight? Live from Churchill Downs, 4:30 Eastern, Saturday. And ABC's Jim McKay gives you his greatest Kentucky Derby moments online at abcsports.com, part of Go Network. Well, the 6th, 7th, and 8th place drivers right here. Jeff Burton, Ricky Rudd, and Jeff Gordon.
I thought Jeff Burton, had he cleared, was going to move up the racetrack, but luckily he didn't, because he did not have Ricky Rudd cleared. And look what momentum that Rudd gets coming off the top of the racetrack.
Well, for a taste of the race, let's check out some Jimmy Dean breakfast sausage telemetry here. Speed up to 190 miles an hour before a tap of the brakes, and then hard back on the accelerator down the long backstretch.
And right now they do have the tailwind blowing down the front stretch, so he should be a little slower. This straightaway is shorter, and he has a headwind. So what kind of 188? So about 3 miles per hour faster down the front stretch. Ricky Rudd seemed to have some horsepower in that 28 Haviland car today. 191, 192 that time.
And Rudd appears to be in a position to challenge Jimmy Spencer here. Not quite.
Jimmy Spencer in the 26 Kmart car and Ricky Rudd the 28 Haviland car. Both these cars have Rudd or Yates horsepower.
While all this has been going on at the front of that pack, Tony Stewart has moved into second position, and again we tell you that he started 32nd, and Matt Kenseth is right behind him in third spot.
And Matt Kenseth started back in the 23rd position.
He started 13th on this initial this restart after the pit stop. So he's making that bottom work. He and Stewart have been on the bottom, and they've pretty much run down everybody ahead of him.
Let's update Rusty Wallace for you. It's been an up and down day for Rusty. He's currently in the 17th spot, about 12 seconds behind the leader. Rusty began this race from 11th position. Since the restart at 25th, he has moved to the 17th.
We're going back to 25th. We'll see, have a look at Rusty Wallace. And there earlier on, we saw him point to Jeff Burton and say, go down there, don't pull up behind me because it makes my car way too loose, as Bill Elliott did.
So Rusty moving up through the field once again, currently in the 17th spot. Rusty driving a brand new car here this weekend. Rusty has not led a lap yet, but he has led the most laps in the year 2000, 525, most of them coming, of course, in Martinsville. There is Mike Skinner, who so far has led the most laps here this afternoon, 42. Second highest number led Ricky Rudd, who has been out front for 10 circuits.
As we watch Skinner come off the corner, I see that Matt Kenseth has been able to get by Tony Stewart and move into that second spot. And that time by, he was 3/4 of a mile per hour faster than the leader, Mike Skinner.
And again, we remind you that Kenseth was the winner of the Busch race here yesterday. So, Ray, maybe he did get some information in that race yesterday that's helping him here this afternoon.
Well, it certainly looks like it. His Busch car yesterday afternoon was extremely fast, and he kept that on the bottom pretty much all day, too.
Mark Martin and Ricky Rudd going at it for 5th.
Wasn't Mark up in second 2 laps ago? Yeah. So the tires get worn on the Valvoline Ford. Number 6, it seems like he starts, the harder they get, the slower he becomes versus the competition.
Again, Jimmy Spencer way up there in the light gray area. They're maintaining the 4th spot.
On board with Jeff Burton, the Parts Plus onboard camera. Currently running in 7th position. See the last lap, 172.9. That was faster than the leader, but it was slower than Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that a few minutes ago we noticed that Mike Skinner was running laps in the 174 mile an hour bracket, and now he's down in 172, and Kenseth is, or at least last lap was, faster than he.
You know what, this is a pretty doggone good battle right here. These guys have been going at it for several laps, and they're hanging in there with these guys.
John Andretti, there he is back in the 34th spot, so he hasn't made a whole lot of progress since that disastrous pit stop.
And it looks like right now he's struggling, you know, with these cars back here. It must be that the wind, the aerodynamics of his car when he gets around other cars. Before we saw him almost by himself, and he was really fast. Now, as he gets around these other cars, he's struggling.
That's Robbie Gordon, who is running right ahead of him. Gordon in the 34th position. Now, we refresh your memory here as to what happened to John Andretti on his first pit stop.
Watch the front tire changer go around. He drops the air hose down, and John Andretti, the left front tire, sits on top of the air hose. We see the guy behind the wall. He's jerking the air hose. Said, I can't get it out. The guy over trying to change the tire looks at him and says, something is wrong. And it's obvious that he's sitting on top of the...
The leader of the race.
They finally have to get another impact wrench, go over and change the right front tire. Then they got to come around and change the left side tires.
And then they get this hung up on the front bumper, so it was just one mistake after another in the John Andretti pit. Those things happen once in a while.
Robbie Gordon in the 9 car, Robbie in the 13, the red car, the Burger King, and the Cougar, number 9 of Stacy Compton. Oh, Robbie goes in the corner and just kind of carries Stacy up the hill.
That Robbie Gordon car is a little bit different look to it this week. It's sporting Fred Flintstone's trademark, courtesy of Universal Studios and Burger King. It's all part of the kickoff for the theatrical release of the Flintstones Viva Las Vegas. All right, here is Mike Skinner, and he has lengthened his advantage to 4.5 seconds now on Matt Kenseth, with Tony Stewart running third, followed by Jimmy Spencer and Ricky Rudd. We'll be right back. Under caution for the second time this afternoon, and here they come down through the pit area. All those on the lead lap have an opportunity to come in for service. That means that Mike Skinner and Matt Kenseth and others are on their way down. John?
Tony Stewart has the first pit stall here on pit road. He comes to a stop. It'll be a 4-tire change. He says he hates to do too much to the car because it's really good. But Greg Cipodelli, the crew chief, decided to take a pound of air pressure out of the right front tire. Now to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Triple pits. Mike Skinner, top of your screen. Matt Kenseth and Jimmy Spencer at the bottom. Skinner, the leader. No changes. Said the car is perfect. They will put on 4 tires. No air pressure. No wedge change. Get it full of fuel. Matt Kenseth, the car number 17, really coming on strong, and Skinner is down and away. Let's go to Bill Weber.
For Ricky Rudd, it is 4 tires and a round of wedge. He's good going in, but loose coming off. He can't get back in the gas. They have a good stop. He heads off a pit road next to Mark Martin, followed by a fleet of cars.
And almost a collision there coming off pit road. Bill Elliott almost got hit. Well, here's why we were under the caution. It was Dave Blaney up in turn number 4. Doesn't look like that again. He was hit, but maybe just the air off his spoiler.
Just comes off the corner. We saw that several times yesterday in the Busch race. And watch that ultimate. Oh, it just gets crumpled up like wadding up paper. Watch Kenny Wallace, that Square D car. He just turns left and motors down pit road.
And again, there's no fine for speeding on pit road in that situation. There it is again. Blaney running right in the middle of the racetrack. Swaps in and has heavy contact with the outside wall in the 4th corner.
And there comes Kenny. Turn left down pit road. There we go.
Well, 78 laps out of 250 have been completed here in the California 500. Let's get an update as we go to our Wide World of Sports studio in New York. Here's your host, Robin Roberts. The NAPA Auto Parts 500 at California Speedway under caution. Everybody has left pit road except Ward Burton. Jerry, what's going on?
Bob, it's the second time he's been in under this caution flag. Ward Burton's Caterpillar Pontiac just bad loose, to quote Ward Burton in the car. The first pit stop on lap 42, they made 2 significant adjustments. Nothing changed on the car. The car just continued to be very loose. He backslid some 17 spots. On these 2 stops, here's what they did. They just a moment ago unhooked the rear sway bar to tighten it up, put a rubber in the left rear, lowered the track bar, changed the air pressure, all that hoping to be able to fix a loose condition for Ward Burton. Let's check in with Bill.
A meeting going on in the pits of Jeremy Mayfield. Earlier, we told you his oil was heating up. Peter Suspenza just told me that temperature was 310 degrees before they changed the valve on the prior pit stop. He came back in, it's at 300 degrees. They checked their work. They think it's going to be fine. They think it is still going to run hot, but they predict the car is going to be okay for 500 miles here at California. Now remember, Mayfield just got his lap back. He's been one of the fastest cars on the racetrack since that earlier caution. Peter Suspenza predicts a very good finish for that car. This will be worth watching. Let's go to John Kernan.
Dale Earnhardt has been on pit road twice during this caution, and they have done a lot of work to try and get that number 3 car to handle out there on the racetrack. It's been a handful, very, very loose skating around on the former 7-time Winston Cup champion. So they disconnected the rear sway bar. They pulled a rubber out of the left rear spring. They made a shock adjustment to the left front. They've also changed 4 tires, and they also gave him 2 cups of water, in case you're interested. To Dr. Jerry Punch.
And to add insult to injury for Ward Burton, on top of the problems they have with handling in the car, their radios are not working. So crew chief Tommy Baldwin has to radio the spotter. The spotter is the only one that can talk to Ward Burton, so it's very frustrating. They couldn't even tell Ward to leave pit road a moment ago. They had to bang on the side of the car to get him to leave. And so now they're finally getting some help with the radios here in the pits to be able to communicate with their driver. That has to be very frustrating.
Ward Burton back in 41st, the last car on the lead lap. Well, next Sunday, ABC Sports continues its coverage of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs with exciting conference final action. We'll be bringing you Game 5 of the Penguins-Flyers series if necessary, and Game 6 of the Avalanche-Red Wings series if necessary. Check your local listings or log on to abcsports.com for the game in your area. That's next Sunday, live at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on ABC, home of the Stanley Cup.
Signals being given, 1 lap to go.
Both Mayfield and Ward Burton make return visits to pit road, as does Dale Earnhardt.
And Dave Blaney sits on pit road as well, repairing damage to the right rear where he backed into the fence off turn 4. And we showed you Blaney back in the fence, and his car also came down pit road, and the crew told him to continue on down pit road. And they told him to obey the speed limit, 4,200. He did, and he was lapped. If he had just put it in gear and went down pit road as fast as he could, there we see him working on the car. If he'd gone down pit road as fast as he could, he would not have gotten lapped. The penalty would be you start at the end of the longest line. Guess where he's going to start? At the end of the longest line.
That's right. In this case, he should have violated the rules. All right, well, Mike Skinner was our 8th different Bud Pole winner for the year 2000 here at California. Dale Jarrett and Rusty Wallace are the only repeat pole winners so far this year, and so they are the drivers who right now are eligible for the Bud Shootout at Daytona next February.
Peter Suspends is Jeremy Mayfield's crew chief. I know your car is fast, but can it live till the end?
Well, we're going to be all right. We're running a little bit hot on the oil temperature, but we got the best oil in the world, Mobil 1, so we ain't even worried about it.
Okay, we'll see what happens. He did come in on that last lap to top off with fuel. Green about to come out.
And we're back under racing conditions at the California Speedway. Ricky Rudd may have gotten a rather poor start. He's losing a position to Bobby Labonte, although now the car begins to pick up on the high side of the track.
A whole line of cars. Jeff Gordon, and we see Dale Jarrett now pulled down to the inside of Bobby Labonte. That's what Jeff Gordon's trying to get someone to draft with. Steve Park trying to run it in 12th spot. Oh, he's right beside of Rusty Wallace. Now Rusty is in front. Park falls back to the 13th position.
36 car right behind the 1 is driven by Ken Schrader. He has shown up in the 14th position. He was 23rd before the caution, so he gained some spots. Here is Dale Earnhardt Jr. battling alongside Jeff Gordon. This is for the 10th position.
And folks, you have seen that number 8 before. If you're a race car fan, that's the same car that won the race in Texas with Dale Earnhardt Jr. at the wheel. What, his 12th race in NASCAR World Cup competition, he wins.
And he has been a winner here at the California Speedway also, not in the Winston Cup Series, of course. This is his first try in that series, but he has 3 Busch races under his belt, and he was a winner back in 1998. Back to the front of the field, meanwhile. This time, Kenseth is staying right with Mike Skinner. Skinner opened up quite an interval the last time we went green, but now Kenseth is staying right with him. Tony Stewart is back there in 3rd. Spencer and the 6th car of Mark Martin. Johnny Benson And Ken Schrader you saw running side by side there. And here is Tony Stewart. And Jimmy Spencer as Spencer takes over the third spot.
Johnny Benson, Kenny Schrader, Michael Waltrip, Kevin LePage, Robbie Gordon, Elliott Sadler, and a battle for the lead. Kenseth on the inside and takes that spot away. Man,
Matt Kenseth is leading, or he won't get credit for actually leading the lap until he comes around. But if he is at the front when he crosses the line, it'll be the fourth race that he has led in his NASCAR Winston Cup rookie season. Back to this battle here involving many cars. Schrader, Benson, Michael Waltrip, LePage. There's Elliott Sadler, who's also celebrating a birthday today. So two guys running right there together on the racetrack. Michael Waltrip in 7, and Waltrip and LePage may have had contact there.
And the 3 wide going down in turn 1. Kenny Schrader wisely backs off, goes in the corner just 2 wide. 2's a handful, 3's almost impossible. Robert Preston in that blue car trying to take the spot away from Schrader. And Robbie Gordon up on the outside.
And Gordon is using Robert Yates engines nowadays. In fact, this is the second race that he has had a Robert Yates engine. They tested here last week, Robbie Gordon did, and he's using the same car that he ran at Las Vegas and ended up with his best finish of the year so far, 13th, after starting 12th and leading 8 laps.
There's Chad Little. We saw him staying out there before to get that 5 bonus points because they're going to make some chassis adjustments. It must have worked because there he is. He and Wally Dallenbach side by side. That is back for the 23rd, 24th position.
I'm going to off this birthday kick here in just a moment, but Chad Little was 37 yesterday, the same day that Dale Earnhardt celebrated his birthday. All right. Wally Dallenbach in the 75. That 33 car was purple the last time we saw it. Now what color is it going to be?
Oh, I thought I saw a hint of blue.
Yeah.
There's Kyle Petty in the mix. Jerry Nadeau, and now Jeremy Mayfield trying to work his way back through. He restarted this race in the last position. He's up there now in the 27th spot.
And there is John Andretti, who's at 29th. Brett Bodine and Ward Burton running behind him. Ward Burton struggling with an ill-handling race car, made several trips to the pit area during this most recent caution. And now Matt Kenseth begins to lengthen his advantage just a little bit. It's less than a second, but several car lengths for Matt Kenseth over Mike Skinner. Jimmy Spencer, Tony Stewart, and Bobby Labonte are the top 5 with 90 of 250 laps completed in California. At California Speedway on a windy Sunday morning and afternoon. Here's what happened on the first lap. Mike Skinner, the pole sitter, loose coming off the 4th corner, giving the lead to Jimmy Spencer. It's been an up and down day for Rusty Wallace. He loses several positions early in the race. Rick Mast has a problem and comes in for the pits. John Andretti ran over his air hose and spent an eternity on pit road. The only wall banger of the day so far, Dave Blaney hitting the wall up in turn number 4, and that's where we are as we are nearing the 100 lap mark in the California 500. There's the leader, Matt Kenseth, with a 1-second advantage on Mike Skinner. Kenseth started way back in the 23rd position, had moved up to the 15th spot on lap number 19, and here he is in the lead. The latest casualty is the 21 car of Elliott Sadler. Bill, what's the deal there?
Well, apparently, Bob, they broke the harmonic balancer, and that took a belt with it, and they pushed Elliott Sadler back to the garage. But he was having a great run. You can see the belt just laying there on the racetrack. So now he's going back to the garage.
And on the racetrack, this is the battle for 6th position between Jeff Burton and Bobby Labonte. Stewart.
That's 4th and 5th.
Right now, the first 5 have not won a race in the year 2000. So we could again be en route to our 10th different winner in as many events to start the year.
Saw the 32 car, Scott Pruitt, go by, the Tide car. He had some kind of problem, made a pit stop, I'm assuming flat tire or something. He lost a couple laps.
Kevin LePage started back in 40th spot, and he's up to 14th. And Bill has an update on Scott Pruitt, who's running right ahead of Kevin on the racetrack.
Boy, you want to talk about your disappointing days. The Tide team is certainly having one. Scott Pruitt qualified 6th for this race. His most recent problem is there's some kind of vibration with the right front wheel. He came down pit road just a few laps ago, changed tires. That apparently not the problem. They're still investigating. Now the caution is out. So Pruitt's having a bad day and a problem for the 42 car.
He's had heavy contact with the wall on the left side of the car and tries to make it to the entrance to pit road. It looks like he will do so, but some bad damage on the Bell South Chevy.
Damage to the rear and left front of Kenny Irwin's car.
That brings out our 3rd caution of the day, and it comes on lap number 100. Field comes down to take the caution flag, so the pace car will move out onto the racetrack and pick up the field as Irwin makes his way slowly down toward his pit stall. Here's the replays, already up against the wall.
Well, it doesn't seem to be a lot of cars right behind him. There's just no way of knowing exactly what happened, but one more angle. There we see the car backing in. There's the impact.
Kenny Irwin also coming off his best finish of the year 2000. He finished 4th at Talladega 2 weeks ago, and that increased him 5 positions in the point standings up to 24th. But they've got a lot of work to do on this car as they push it behind the wall. Okay, we're at lap number 100. How does that pan out as far as laps completed and fuel mileage is concerned?
About like starting over, isn't it, Ray?
Just like starting over. We were monitoring that. The last caution, last 2 cautions put us at a fuel mileage race. This caution that just came out puts us right back to square one, 50-50. 50-50 on laps, not 50-50 you can make it.
Yeah. See the track crew up in turn number 4, getting the debris off the racetrack. The 42, by the way, has the longest current streak of running at the end of 21 races, extending back to Bristol last year. Actually, he's tied with Ward Burton for that distinction. Down to John Kernan as the leaders come to the pit road.
Tony Stewart is in for a 4-tire change, says the car still feels really good. A slight air pressure adjustment on the left side tires for Stewart, and another adjustment that Greg Zipadelli would specify. But they give a bag of ice to Stewart down the way to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Rookie and leader Matt Kenseth in. No changes so far on the DeWalt Ford Taurus of Matt Kenseth. He pits about 6 pits above Mike Skinner, who also wanted no changes. Kenseth, great pit stop. Let's go down to Bill Weber.
Ricky Rudd has told his crew his car is getting better and better. Steve Park is the first car off of pit road. No adjustments this time. Just 4 tires and fuel.
I tell you, it's just unbelievable how those crews all change those tires at almost exactly the same time. Just look at these cars come off pit road almost exactly the way it went on pit road.
Looks like a little bit better pit stop this time for John Andretti as he moves back onto the 2-mile California track. More after these messages and a word from our ABC stations. Still under caution here at the California Speedway as the cleanup down in turn number 4 has been completed, and as they come down to complete this lap, they get the 1 to go signal. Now we have the crew cam on Donnie Brown, tire changer on the number 14 car, BP.
Right front tire changer takes the tire off. The tire carrier throws it on, tightens it up, goes around to the left side. Those lug nuts off. 5 lug nuts, not one like you see on open wheel cars. Wheel goes on. Ray, would you hire that guy?
I'd hire that tire handler because he was pretty good. The tire handler, his job is to put that tire on the hub and index it so the tire changer can push it in and hit it with the gun. And those guys had a pretty good rhythm. That was actually a pretty good front tire stop.
Jody Mayberry was the tire carrier that did that great job.
Well, he did a good job.
Let's check our Coke pit summary. Matt Kenseth lost 4 positions. Skinner from 2nd to 3rd. Rudd lost 4. Jeff Burton lost 6 positions, and Jimmy Spencer lost 1 on those series of pit stops. Our second page here shows us that Dale Earnhardt Jr. also lost considerably. In fact, Steve Park was a gainer from 9th to the lead. Now, while we were under caution, Stacy Compton led a lap for the first time in his Winston Cup career.
Now, what would that tell you that Steve Park gained 9 spots or 8 spots? What would that tell you, Bob?
2 tires?
Benny, I would have said 2 tires. He, I guess we went to green lap 82. There was 18 laps on his left sides. Might be a good choice. We'll see.
That would be my guess. 2 tires. We'll see how that works out.
Running second behind Park is Robert Presley. Then comes Skinner. Then Bobby Labonte, Matt Kenseth, Jimmy Spencer, Ricky Rudd, Mike Waltrip. Michael Waltrip having a good run. Mark Martin is 9th, and Jeff Burton is 10th. That tells the story. The green is back out. That's Scott Pruitt, who is not on the lead lap. He is 2 laps down.
Robert Presley in 2nd spot. And here comes the 18 car Labonte on the inside of Skinner. That's for 3rd. And Matt Kenseth said, come on, guys. Come on, let's go. And now Robert Presley trying to follow Scott Pruitt for the lead.
Robert Presley has not led so far this year. Michigan last August was the last time he was in front of the NASCAR Winston Cup race. Let's see if he can lead this lap. He comes down with Steve Park right beside him, and yes, Presley by just a foot or so. I think a credit for leading that.
Arc that thing in there. Clear, all clear.
Oh, he's loose. Presley got very, very loose. He goes up the racetrack. Takes Steve Park with him.
Nice save by both those guys.
Up on the track down there.
And look at that. Steve Park, he gambled. He got those 2 tires, and nothing that he did wrong, but he must have lost 20 positions.
As BP would say, the whole world went by him.
Exactly. Man. Looks like that Preston just had the air taken off his spoiler going in the corner, right?
Yeah, Benny, and I would believe he's on 2 tires also, and it definitely didn't have as much grip as the 31 car did at that particular part of the corner.
Watch this. Here's the leader, the blue car, Robert Preston in the corner. He goes in, and Skinner pulls up right behind him, and man, it looks like that car gets loose. He goes up the racetrack to try to save it, and Park does a great job avoiding it.
Well, all that means is Mike Skinner is back in front, and yes, indeed, Park did take 2 tires during that pit stop.
And Jimmy Spencer just gets by Bobby Labonte to move into the 3rd position.
And Kenseth is back in 2nd. On board with Bobby Labonte, that's Spencer, Kenseth, and Skinner up ahead.
Man, did Preston vanish from that picture real quick a while ago? Oh.
He has dropped back to the 9th position, and Steve Park is back here battling with Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the 12th position. That's Dale Jarrett also there in this mix of cars.
And Ward Burton, the Caterpillar car, after all those changes, starting back at the rear on the last stop, has now worked his way back up in about 16th position.
And the 12 car Jeremy Mayfield, who was almost a lap down at one point, but is back in the thick of things here. On board with Burton, a lot of traffic around him.
Kevin LePage, another one of Jack Roush cars directly in front of Burton.
John Dale Jarrett hasn't made a real great advancement. He's in 14th spot, and he started back in 33rd. What's his situation?
Well, Bob, like a lot of drivers today, DJ is fighting a loose condition. They've made adjustments throughout the race. This is a car that last year dominated at this track's sister facility in Michigan. He also won the Brickyard 400 with it. But after he made up those initial, 19 spots, he's gone from 33rd to about 14th right now. The car has just gotten very, very loose on him, so they'll have to make some adjustments on the next pit stop. But they're telling him to just be smooth and try and hang in there, DJ, because they're hoping the car will come to him eventually with the adjustments that they make.
See Jeremy Mayfield right in front of Jeff Burton, trying to get by Robert Presley. And a battle for the lead.
Oh, yeah. Kenseth has a good run down on the inside, and he leads that lap, number 110. And Matt Kenseth is back in front. Well, you got to be impressed with him today.
He's just done a fantastic job. Yesterday in the NASCAR Busch Series race, and then again today.
.110 laps completed out of 250 here at the California Speedway in the Napa Auto Parts 500. Matt Kenseth is the leader. Back with more coverage in a moment. Just a gorgeous day here in Southern California. We're located about 45 miles east of Los Angeles in Fontana, California Speedway in the Napa Auto Parts 500. These aerial shots courtesy of the Pennzoil Copter Cam, showing you the leader, Matt Kenseth, on the left, pursued by Mike Skinner. Well, the 77 car is off the pace, and after leading a lap just a few minutes ago, then getting loose up in the second corner and losing several spots, now Presley is off the pace.
Well, those cars of Ray Evernham, and I suspect, just changed 2 tires on that pit stop. We see no smoke from the engine. He's kind of running like. That's hard to say.
He just lost the 27th position to Kyle Petty. About a half-second advantage of Matt Kenseth over Mike Skinner. And running in 3rd position is Bobby Labonte.
He's going fast right now. Last lap by ran faster than both leaders, Kenseth or Skinner. We'll check him out this time, Bob. Not quite as fast as the leader, about the same speed as the leader, a little faster than the second place car, Mike Skinner.
Here's Dale Jarrett and Bill Elliott running right together, and this is for the 17th position.
Haven't they done this all day?
And there's Michael Waltrip in 16th position. He's had a good day, although there have been some moments, shall we say. One of them was just a few laps ago, up in turn number 4. Watch this.
Michael comes off the corner, lets that car drift up, and almost let it drift too high, but you saw no black mark on the wall. You saw no dust, no harm, no foul.
Yep. Maybe the heartbeat is a little bit faster for Michael Waltrip, but
could be.
No harm to the car.
And it's a good thing they didn't have another coat of paint on that, or it would have been to the primer.
We would tell you what paint, but we're not sure. We won't get in trouble.
Don't want to get into that again. Jarrett sliding in behind Bill Elliott, who is a many-time winner at Michigan, but we heard him say in our ESPN2 show, Bill Weber's NASCAR Today, that although these tracks look alike, they are very, very dissimilar. As a matter of fact, Elliott says that the track here has changed greatly just from last year.
I think we're seeing the cars run higher on the racetrack this year than we did last year.
Absolutely, Benny. And I think the racetrack today caught a lot of people by surprise. The 3 previous times we've been here, the track's been very, very tight, and we had to work hard to keep the car loose or free. Today, a lot of guys are complaining about being too loose. We're seeing guys making major, major changes on pit stops, panel rods going down rounds, rubbers in, out. So I think it caught a lot of people by surprise.
There's Steve Park running just ahead of Bill Elliott, and also Kevin LePage is in the shot here. Steve Park is in 14th.
This is their NAPA Auto Parts onboard camera, on board with Steve Park as he tries to close in on the back of Kevin LePage. This battle is going on about 9 seconds behind the leader.
Meanwhile, up front, Bobby Labonte has caught the second place car of Mike Skinner as they go down the backstretch. You can see there that Dave Blaney has re-entered the race. He is 8 laps down after doing repair to the car from his accident in the 4th corner.
To watch Skinner go in the corner and let the car drift up, and Labonte stays right on the bottom of the racetrack. The reason that Labonte seems to be gaining, all things being equal, he's going a shorter distance. So if he can do it, you think that you would be much faster going a shorter distance. Look how much more racetrack that Skinner is using than Bobby Labonte is.
And he's got a good run coming off the second corner now. Bobby Labonte, it appears, is going to go to second. We'll see. Yes.
So Skinner just can't keep his car down on the bottom of the racetrack. And here comes Rusty Wallace by, right up against an outside wall, trying to take over that spot from Jimmy Spencer. And I think Rusty almost hit the wall off turn 4, had to back off the gas. He had that spot, but I think he had to squeeze off to miss the wall, which allowed Spencer to get back in front of him. All right, Rusty's going to try this again. Let's check the telemetry. Down the backstretch, 187, 189 miles per hour. Dragging that, a little bit of wobble, dragging that brake, trying to keep that car on the bottom of the racetrack. See, that's going to hurt his speed down the front stretch.
When you talk about a little bit of a wobble, what's a little bit of a wobble at 190 miles an hour? It's unbelievable those guys are controlling those cars.
With the wind at his back, Rusty was able to reach the 200-mile-an-hour mark down the front chute.
The wind at his back and the 26 car in front of him. Now, Rusty's got a good run this time as Ricky Rudd, the Texaco car, comes up behind them. So, Rusty this time trying to take that spot away, but Spencer fights back on the outside.
Meanwhile, closes in.
See the speeds almost identical for both these cars. All right, Rusty finally gets that spot. Now that he can use the entire racetrack, his speed will go up. Coming off the corner with Spencer on the outside, he was not able to let that car drift up the way he'd like, and that hurt his speed down the straightaway.
Benny, did you see him pull down away from the 26 and come down to the bottom of the racetrack and then shoot back up? Doing that breaks the, almost like breaking the draft, and it gives the car a little bit of extra momentum to get by.
Uh-oh. Another country's heard from is Tony Stewart, the Home Depot. Our hardware stores running nose to tail for 3rd and 4th.
And Matt Kenseth has just passed the halfway point. He is leading at the 125 lap mark. So far, the leader at the halfway point in this season has won just 2 of the 9 races.
Let's go back. Let's listen to the throttle. Put him back on the throttle once, had to come back off a little bit and then back on the throttle. But that's at the easy corner. Let's check it down here at the very tough corner, the tightest corner. See when he backs off. Pretty good there. We saw Skinner move up. I think I heard the throttle go down. Boom, let me get that spot. Didn't work out that easily for him. You know, those folks might be offended I call their stores hardware stores, but that's how they started, wasn't it?
Yep. Well, there's Matt Kenseth. His lead over Bobby Labonte is 2.5 seconds. And again, we're 2 laps now past the halfway point. The best battle on the racetrack is that one for 3rd position between Mike Skinner and Tony Stewart. More from California Speedway in a moment. Beautiful aerial view of the California Speedway, site of an old steel mill. And the water tower is still in the infield. There is the leader of the race, Matt Kenseth, followed by the Pennzoil Copter Cam. Beautiful blue skies here in Southern California. Just perfect weather for an auto race. Well, that's Matt Kenseth. He has a 2.8-second lead on Bobby Labonte, but the driver on the move right now is Rusty Wallace, who closes in on the 4th place car, Mike Skinner.
And Rusty Wallace is only 4 seconds behind the leader, Matt Kenseth. As a matter of fact, last time by, Rusty was almost 2 miles per hour faster than Kenseth. Although Kenseth lapping Terry Labonte might have slowed him down a little bit. We'll see this time by. They ran almost identical speeds that time, talking about Terry, the leader, Matt Kenseth, and Rusty Wallace. I'll spit out now.
Rusty started 11th. Has dropped back in the field a couple of times for various reasons, but now has things going his way in 5th place.
We're halfway of the race, and we still have 37 cars on the lead lap.
And we have had 10 lead changes, and rather 10 leaders and 13 lead changes, with Mike Skinner having led the most laps so far, 64. Second on the list is Matt Kenseth, the current leader. Ricky Rudd has led 10, Spencer 6, Andretti 6, Martin 3, Park 2, and 3 drivers have led 1 lap: Robert Presley, Chad Little, and Stacy Compton for the first time in his Winston Cup career. Average speed of the race just over 148 miles an hour.
Now Rusty Wallace has caught these cars, talking about Mike Skinner, Tony Stewart, and he basically can only run as fast as they're running. Now he's trying to get by Skinner to take that spot away. And Skinner does not contest him. Mike Skinner knows he has a fast race car, and he really has been driving what I consider a smart race today. These position changes like this, he hasn't contested them as much as he has in years past, and sometimes that's gotten him in trouble.
Here's Dale Jarrett, who has already disposed of Ward Burton and now sets his sights on the 16 car of Kevin LePage, and Steve Park is right ahead, and Jarrett will go to the inside of Park, and that will put him in the 14th place.
And here comes Dale Earnhardt in the Goodwrench Chevrolet behind this group. Up to 18th position. Man, all those changes they made on this Goodwrench Chevrolet must have worked.
Here's LePage and Ward Burton. Matt Kenseth increasing his advantage to about 3.5 seconds now over Bobby Labonte. We've already had 1 rookie win in the year 2000. Should we have a win here by Matt Kenseth today, 2 rookies winning in the same season, it has been since 1981 that we have had that. Ron Bouchard and Morgan Shepherd both won in their rookie years.
Down on the white line in the middle of the corner. That car is really, they've done a great job with that, Robbie Reiser and his group. When you can have a car that's run this long into a fuel line and stay right on the bottom of the racetrack like that, that thing is working good.
Let's get out of Jerry Punch.
On top of the pit box here at Matt Kenseth's pit with Robbie Reiser, crew chief. Robbie, your car very consistently good on the bottom of the racetrack. What about these final 100 laps?
Well, I can't hardly hear you, but the Wolf Ford's running really well today. The guy's doing a great job, and right now we're super consistent. We've been able to hold that all day long, and we aren't really looking to make any changes here at the end. We just got to have a decent, a couple decent pit stops here and keep them up front.
Robbie, what do you tell this rookie driver about what he needs to do here these final 100 laps to pick up that very first Winston Cup win?
Well, I tell you, we've been running real quick here, and I've been trying to slow him down a little bit. And the more I slow him down, the faster he seems to run. So I don't know. It's handling pretty well right now, and we've got a long ways to go. This thing ain't over. It ain't ever over till the checkered flag. So we got to stay focused and try to bring this one home.
Okay, that's Robbie Rise of the crew chief. They're planning their next to last pit stop on lap 153. That would leave them one more stop just after the 200 lap mark. 2 stops to go, and maybe we could have another rookie win here in the year 2000.
And that would be in 15 more laps. So slower could be faster, Ray?
Absolutely. At a place like this, California is very much a momentum track, and when you drive the car way down into the corner and stand on the brakes and mash the gas, you have a tendency to bind it up. When you lift off the throttle a little bit easier and let the car roll through the middle of the corner, carrying that momentum, it stays a lot freer, keeps those RPMs up.
Rusty Wallace has gotten by both those hardware store cars or home improvement warehouse cars and moved into the 3rd spot right on the back bumper of Bobby Labonte.
Matt Kenseth leads the Winston Cup rookie points by 2. The Rebestis Rookie of the Year award will go to the driver who has the best record at the end of the year. Right now, it is Dale Earnhardt Jr. 2 under Matt Kenseth. More after these messages and a word from our ABC stations. Welcome back to the California Speedway. ABC Sports covering the NAPA Auto Parts 500. Second place now belongs to Rusty Wallace. He's been able to get around Bobby Labonte, and so Rusty continues to have a very good day. Running back in the 4th position behind Bobby Labonte is Tony Stewart.
So we have the Joe Gibbs cars running 3rd and 4th.
Let's get down to John Kernan, who's with Jimmy Maycar.
And we should be seeing pit stops in the next few laps. I'm with Bobby Labonte's crew chief, Jimmy Maycar. Jimmy, what kind of strategy are you going to play out here in the last 100 laps? Try and get your driver up to the front to win this race.
Well, right now we're still working on the race car. We're a little bit off on handling. Need some more total grip in the car, so we're going to make some small adjustments again next stop. Pretty much the key right now, though, is this thing goes green. We got to be able to make our segments far enough along here to make it on 2 more stops.
Jimmy Maycar waiting for his driver in about 5 laps. We're seeing one of the front runners, at least in the top 20 cars, come in, and that is Dale Jarrett. We would expect a 4-tire change for Dale Jarrett and also some adjustments because his car has been a handful all afternoon long. In fact, it had gotten very, very loose. They're working on the left side now, DJ's car.
And a 15-second stop.
Man, oh man, what a pit stop. As he slowly comes down pit road trying to obeying that 55-mile-per-hour speed limit on pit road.
Well, his teammate Ricky Rudd is having a good day, running 7th, about 7 seconds behind the leader. Mike McSwain is the crew chief on this car. Let's talk to him, Bill Weber.
A good day for you so far. How's your car and what's your strategy in the final 100 laps?
We're pretty good right now. We need just to be just a little bit tighter. We're just trying to creep up on it, not make it push toward the end of the run. I think where we want to be, let's just see if we can put it all together for the end.
Well, the 24 car of Jeff Gordon comes onto pit road. He relinquishes a top 10 position, but he had been dropping back some spots. As Jerry Punch, he is headed toward you.
Spoke with Robbie Loomis just a moment ago. Jeff Gordon very tight getting off the corner. The car would not come off the corner. Expect them to make an air pressure and maybe even a wedge change. Yes, they will make a change. They're going to try to make an adjustment. Gordon said the car very tight from the center of the corner off, would not turn, and it's critical to be able to carry your speed off of turn 2 here on this D-shaped oval. Next to the last pit stop, the DuPont team, left rear tire on, and Gordon is down and away.
But you see that 17.2, 2 full seconds slower than Dale Jarrett's stop.
Here comes Ward Burton in for a stop.
4,200, Ward.
That's the RPM that he needs to stay at to be at 55 miles per hour.
5 away. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Back into Jerry.
Ward Burton in the Caterpillar Pontiac, the crew now. Tommy Baldwin and company going to work on a car. Remember, they had those major adjustments on that race car back about 60 laps ago. The concern being that their car was very, very loose, and it would not be able to turn, either get in the corner or get off. The crew now screaming as he rolls away after a 4-tire change.
And he too has about a 17-second pit stop as Rusty Wallace gives up his runner-up spot to make a pit stop.
All right, left side's going up on Rusty's car. They're off. Tire carriers throw them on. Jack is down 16.3. Good pit stop.
Tony Stewart had a problem as he approached the pit area. Let's take a look from his onboard camera. This is coming off turn number 4, and he'll get off into the grass.
Oh, he just got loose trying to enter pit road, almost spun out and decided he couldn't make it, had to go around, and that's going to cost him a great deal of time. Here he comes back once again.
As Steve Park pits beside him or down in front of him, the crew goes to work on the Home Depot Pontiac. Bobby Hamilton is also on pit road. All these pit stops coming on lap number 151.
So a huge adjustment back on the rear sway bar.
Oh, good stop, though. 15.5 seconds. And here comes the leader, Matt Kenseth. Bobby Labonte is on pit road, so is Terry Labonte, Mike Skinner, Ricky Rudd, and Jimmy Spencer. Jerry?
4,200 RPMs in second gear. That's the 55-mile-per-hour limit for the DeWalt Ford. Next to the last pit stop. They will peel away the windshield film. They were talking about an air pressure adjustment. They were even talking about some wedge because Matt was very loose, and Bobby Labonte is also in. Now he is out. Back to the DeWalt Ford. Left side tires. Mike Skinner getting service from the Lowe's Chevrolet. Down pit road, left side tires on Skinner's Lowe's Chevy. Larry McReynolds' crew trying to get the left rear on. Skinner is down and away. Final pit stop coming up for that team as we check in with Bill Weber.
Ricky Rudd is getting 4 tires. He's good in 1 and 2. Said he's dead in the water in 3 and 4. They're hoping an air pressure adjustment will make his Texaco Ford faster.
Bill Elliott was leading the race, but now he comes in for the pit stop, and that is the first time that Bill has led here at the California Speedway. He's making his way to his pits box, Jerry.
And awesome Bill Elliott. What a year he has had thus far. They've been some ups and downs, but more ups and downs in recent. McDonald's drive-through crew now changing right side tires. Martin is in as well. Right side, they make a major adjustment on Martin's car. Back to Bill Elliott in the McDonald's Ford. Left side tires going on. Elliott down and away. Left side tires going on Mark Martin's car. Jimmy Finnig, a major chassis adjustment for the Valvoline Ford of Mark Martin, who was very loose. And the car number 99 of Jeff Burton comes down pit road. The X-Side Ford that won at Las Vegas $1 million comes down for what will be his next to the final stop. Bob?
Slowly down at 55 miles an hour. His pit is all the way down toward turn number 1. Finally, he arrives at it, and the crew jumps out and scampers to the job.
That's a little trouble on the right rear, making a chassis adjustment on the X-Side Ford. Left side's saw the left rear still a little slow in the rear. 19.1. Boy, it doesn't take much just to ruin 3 or 4 seconds of the pit stop.
Yep. So we cycle around now, and Kenny Schrader is shown as the leader of the race with pit stops happening here in the NAPA Auto Parts 500. We'll be right back.
We welcome you back to the California Speedway where Darrell Waltrip had stayed out long enough on this green flag run to lead a lap. But as he took the lead and came back around, the car ran out of fuel on the backstretch. You see him spraying the car to put it into the air, and they get the car refired, and Darrell Waltrip is down and away to re-enter the race.
But when Waltrip led a lap, that gave us 14 leaders today, and that is a new record here at this racetrack, breaking the previous mark of 13 set just last year. Now, the record for this year, we have had 17 leaders at both Atlanta and Texas. So with Darrell Waltrip leading for a lap and then coming in for a pit stop, the lead goes back to Matt Kenseth.
Just barely, I might add.
That's how close it is. Rusty Wallace is hot on his heels.
Yes, he is. Great pit stop by Rusty Wallace's crew, and he has a very good race car today.
Benny, at 200 miles an hour, every second is 300 feet, so just every tenth of a second is a car length.
Every tenth of a second is a car length. I haven't been thought about it.
That's way beyond my poor mathematical mind. Just 2 cars out of the race. Kenny Irwin and Elliott Sadler. Everybody else is still running. The 18 car is running in 3rd spot, but about 4 seconds behind Kenseth and Rusty.
Last time by, though, this car was the fastest car of the top 6. Our computer in our booth allows us to see the speeds on the top 6 cars, and that time by, Bobby Labonte once again the fastest car.
There's Mike Skinner, the pole sitter, who is 4th. And despite some problems early on in the race, in 5th spot is Jeremy Mayfield, and he has moved himself back up into contention.
His oil temperature was overheating early on. They had to raise the hood and bypass a line or something, and he lost a lap. But he got the lap back and is in 5th spot.
Here's Jimmy Spencer, who currently running in 6th position. He started on the outside of row number 1.
And folks are going to be surprised who's in 7th spot right behind. There he is, Bill Elliott. Elliott down on the bottom of the racetrack. He had been running the top, wasn't he, Ray? Now he's on the bottom.
I think he's just moved to the bottom with the fresh tires. As those tires wear off, they've got that car working pretty good up on the top now. And Mike Ford and the guys made some good adjustments this morning because they weren't happy with that car yesterday afternoon. They made some changes this morning, and they look like they've really got it going good.
Southern California, I'm sure, holds some special memories for Bill Elliott because it was in this general vicinity at Riverside in November 1983 that Bill won his very first NASCAR Winston Cup race.
Why do you keep bringing that up?
Why?
He knocked me out of the way to win.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
okay, well, then let's talk about the last race that was run at Ontario Motor Speedway, which is just down the road, was won by Benny Parsons.
Thank you very much. That's better.
And Bill said you checked up in front of him.
That's right. Back in 9th position is Mark Martin.
And Tony Stewart was up there battling for what, 2nd, 3rd spot before this series of pit stops started. And there we see he's behind Mark Martin. That failed attempt to come down pit road has cost him dearly. He's back now in 10th spot. And I'm going to tell you how far he's behind the leader in just a second.
When he crosses the line, it is
14.5 seconds.
Here comes Dale Jarrett running 11th. And again, if you're joining our telecast late, all the rumors were put to rest earlier this weekend as Todd Parrott said that he had signed a lifetime contract with Robert Yates, and Jarrett has extended his agreement with Robert Yates to 2004. So those rumors about how the team was splitting up, don't believe them. Ward Burton is 12th.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. back in the 13th position as he follows Ward Burton.
Boy, he comes high off that corner, doesn't he? And I think he did a few laps ago, too.
Let's check this replay and watch it. That's Michael Waltrip all over again.
From Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s onboard camera now. Yeah.
Never cracked the throttle low. Nope. These guys are about 17.5 seconds behind the leader. And Steve Park on the inside of Jeff Gordon, the battle for the 14th position. Right now they're about a half lap behind the leaders.
Gordon has won twice. 2 of the 3 races that have been run here have been won by Jeff Gordon.
They said the last time that Jeff's car is pushing off the corner right here. they're talking about as he comes off the corner, the car wanting to go out against the wall, not being able to turn it down like he'd like to.
Kenseth has now surpassed Mike Skinner and has led the most laps so far today. He's led 66, Skinner 64. Kenseth leads Wallace, Labonte, Skinner, and Mayfield. 170 of 250 laps complete in the Napa Auto Parts 500 at California Speedway. We are less than a month away from the greatest spectacle in racing. The 84th running of the Indianapolis 500 can be seen here on ABC Sports with a lot of preliminaries too, including the qualifying. Of course, the Indy Racing Northern Light Series drivers are going to be joined by Juan Montoya and Jimmy Vasser from the Kart Series to contest the champion of the Indianapolis 500. Join us for that on Memorial Day weekend. Matt Kenseth continues to lead here. He's coming up on the 29th place car of Stacy Compton. Put a lap on him.
And after the pit stop, Rusty Wallace was just a half second behind Matt Kenseth and stayed there for a few laps. But right now, Matt Kenseth has moved out to almost a 2-second advantage on Rusty Wallace.
Scott Pruitt goes 3 laps down now.
There's Rusty Wallace. That time by 1.8 seconds behind Matt Kenseth.
Here's a battle for the 6th spot between Bill Elliott and Tony Stewart, and Ricky Rudd is watching. Seems like we've seen this scenario before too, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
One low, one high, and one in the middle.
See, Elliott has that great momentum up on high. Oh, almost a touch there. Tony Stewart trying to make amends to his crew. He's running very, very hard, trying to make amends for. Oh, he goes by. Elliott takes over the 6th position. His era, when he started to come down pit road, almost lost control. Had to make another lap. It cost him about 10 or 12 seconds, it looks like.
Napa Field summary showing you the rookie points as we entered this race, with Kenseth on top by 2 over Dale Earnhardt Jr. If you win a Winston Cup race, you get bonus rookie points. It's going to be a closely fought contest, I'll bet, for Rookie of the Year honors this year. Once again, Stewart right down on the bottom line. Elliott using a much higher line in the turns. Here is Kenseth trying to put a lap on Ken Schrader, who's running in the 28th position, and Schrader trying desperately to stay on the lead lap, but well, hasn't happened yet.
No, he's still there. Talking about Schrader, that M&M's car, still on the lead lap.
Will put a lap on Kenny.
Boy, Ray, these young guys figure out real quick how to pull down and get away from those guys and get momentum and help themselves and use that air.
Sure do. And remember, Matt Kenseth won the Busch race here yesterday, so he probably used that trick a little bit before. But what that does, Benny, is you pull out of the wake of the other car, get a little bit of a run, but you've got to get back up the hill before you get to the corner.
Matt has 9 career Busch Series wins. 2 of them have been here, most recently yesterday. His best finish in Winston Cup competition, 6th. That happened both at Dover back in September of '98 and at Darlington earlier this year.
You see the 20 car of Tony Stewart has pulled away from 10 or 15 car lengths in front of Bill Elliott. We saw the pass just a few laps ago. And you know what? Tony Stewart is gaining on the leader, but it might have been because of Matt Kenseth battling with Kenny Schrader. I'll keep an eye on this. Tony Stewart might have an awfully good race car here this evening. And it has turned afternoon out in California.
Last lap. Tony was the fastest of the top 6 cars at 173.4. We'll check them again here and see how they do on this lap. Not quite as fast that time for Tony Stewart, and Brett Bodine is on pit road.
He's going to the garage area. Tough break. His sponsor, Ralph's Supermarkets, based out in Southern California.
So Kenseth with a 2-second advantage on Rusty Wallace as we have completed 177 now of the 250 laps. More after these messages and a word from our ABC stations. Back at California Speedway, the NAPA Auto Parts 500. 182 laps completed, and Matt Kenseth is the leader by about 3 seconds over Rusty Wallace. Next Sunday, ABC Sports continues its coverage of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs with conference final action. Game 5 of the Penguins Flyers if necessary, or Game 6 of the Avalanche Red Wings if necessary. You can check your local listings or log on to abcsports.com for the game in your area. That's live at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Next Sunday on ABC, home of the Stanley Cup. And ABC's John Davidson answers your online questions live during the NHL playoff games at abcsports.com, part of Go Network.
Rick Mast, the Conseco Pontiac, we saw him split an oil line earlier on, and they repaired it. He's back on the racetrack. Unfortunately, he's 29 laps down repairing that oil line.
Well, Bobby Labonte has closed in on the second-place car of Rusty Wallace. This about 3.5 seconds behind the leader, Matt Kenseth. Labonte looks to the inside of Rusty down the backstretch, and he may have second spot here. Let's see how they shake out at the end of the backstretch. Yes, Labonte now goes to second.
And meanwhile, this battle is going on almost 4 seconds behind the leader, Matt Kenseth, who is really stepping it up.
His car is running good, but now Robbie Reiser's got a job down in the pits. He's got a young group of guys getting close within a pit stop maybe of winning their first ever Winston Cup race, and he's got to not allow them to think about that. He's got to keep pushing them to think about the right thing to do. What's the right thing to do? What do we got to do to win the race?
Well, at least from watching him a moment ago, and I mean this as a compliment, he has taken a page out of the Ray Evernham pit book. He has come down a little bit ago, talked to his crew members, told them how proud he is of what they have done. In fact, their last 3 pit stops have all been in the 15-second category, 15.7, 15.9, and 15.16. There's the man who has the job of coaxing a rookie driver. His young driver, Matt Kenseth, not only to a win yesterday in NASCAR's Busch Series event, but to his first landmark Winston Cup victory here in California. And they are about 12 to 13 laps away from what will be their final critical pit stop of the afternoon.
If Kenseth would win, it would be a real statement, but even if he doesn't, it's a real testimony to the talent that is up and coming in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series.
I guess we should have known when Matt Kenseth drove Bill Elliott's car at Dover and finished 8th or something the first time he sit in one. We should have known right away.
6th, yeah.
Was it 6th?
Yep.
Wow. Even better than I thought.
Bobby Labonte running in second spot, trying to retake the points lead from Mark Martin. And if the race were to end now, Labonte would be back on top by 7 points over Mark Martin. There is Michael Waltrip, whose car we understand has dropped a cylinder.
The Nation's Ranch Chevrolet, the number 7 black and yellow car. We saw him running around so well all day today, and now he's trying to draft on the Bobby Labonte. You see that 7 cylinders just don't quite keep up with 8.
There's Stacy Compton there with the number 9 car. He has lost a lap back in 28th position, but stayed on the lead lap for a very long time.
He and Kenny Schrader out there are battling for position. That is for the 28th spot.
All 3 cars here battling for position. Waltrip loses 2 as both Compton and Schrader pass by. Cars on the lead lap with 62 laps to go.
Stacy Compton is running that awfully high line. You see Rick Mast, the Conseco car, about to go by Rusty Wallace. I think he just made a pit stop and changed tires. And Tony Stewart keeps moving along. He's moved up to the 5th position.
There's the point that I just made a few moments ago. Labonte up in the points lead once again, but Dale Earnhardt stay in the same spot. Rusty Wallace is up 1, so is Jeremy Mayfield.
And Terry Labonte right now, points were awarded, would lose 4 spots.
Looking back from Tony Stewart. Comes up ahead of Scott Pruitt. He's 3 laps down in 37th position. And behind that trio of cars, we have Ricky Rudd and Bill Elliott. There is Rudd and Elliott. We're at the 191 lap mark, and that means that in about 10 more laps we should be seeing the final pit stops of the day. As Ray pointed out, it could be a very, very important pit stop for Matt Kenseth. Back in 1981, Ron Bouchard and Morgan Shepherd won in their rookie seasons. It hasn't happened since then. Dale Earnhardt Jr. won earlier this year in Texas, and currently another rookie in the series, Matt Kenseth, is in front here. On board with the rookie winner in the year 2000, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And he's riding the same car that he won in Texas with.
Kenseth hopes to change all that and become a winner himself in the series. We'll see how things go in the last 49 laps. And 59 laps make that in the Napa Auto Parts 500. All 86,000 grandstand seats are filled, plus that contingent down there in the backstretch area filled with spectators as they're enjoying the Napa Auto Parts 500. Aerial shots courtesy of the Pennzoil Copter Cam. Well, Dale Jarrett has just made a pit stop, and he ran 48 laps on his last stop, so that means that he may need another one before we end this thing.
Yes, he stopped with 56 laps to go, so that means if 48's all he can do, he's going to have to another stop at least for gas and go. But slowing down and taking off at 55 miles per hour down pit road is going to be losing lots of positions.
Terry Labonte goes another lap down. That puts him 2 down. He's in the 35th position.
And Matt Kenseth right now is pulled out to a 5.5 second lead on Bobby Labonte.
And Robbie's probably telling him, slow down. He's probably, I am slowing down.
As we said before, the slower he's going, the faster he gets, huh?
Let's see what the interval is. 5.84 seconds between first and second. There's second place, Bobby Labonte. Now 7 of the top 10 currently have not won this season, so odds are in our favor that we will see a 10th different winner here this afternoon. Still got a long way to go, though. Robert Presley running in front of Bobby Labonte. Presley is a lap down in the 24th place.
You think that as we make this final pit stop, Matt Kenseth, a rookie, you think that maybe he'll just be too slow down pit road and lose some time down pit road? Do you think he'll really bump up that thing and run 4,200 RPMs or whatever he's supposed to?
Benny, he's got a good race car. He's got a 5-second lead. He's probably going to be careful.
Well, Rusty Ricky Rudd, has come to pit road, and so has Mike Skinner. So a couple of drivers up in the top 10 are making their stops. We go down to Bill Weber.
And Ricky Rudd is on pit road. This should be his last scheduled stop under green. The longer his car goes, the better it is. He's very happy with it right now. What they're doing is they're going back to the same air pressure setup that they had on the tires he had 2 sets ago. Left side's going on the 31 car. They continue to work on the left side of the 28, trying to get the tearaway off the windshield. They got half of it off. Fuels in, runs away right next to Benson.
Rusty Wallace gives up his top 5 position for a pit stop, Doctor.
Rusty Wallace, final pit stop of the day. They're going to raise a track bar. Rusty's car had gotten tight, and they make a significant track bar adjustment on the right side. Left side tires going on. Robin Pemberton and the crew. Final pit stop. His teammate has also win. Right side tires, left side tires. As we get set for the leader, Matt Kenseth to come in. 24 car in. The defending champion of this race a year ago, Jeff Gordon, getting his final pit work of the DuPont crew. Let's go up to John Curtin.
And Bobby Labonte, the second-place driver, is in for a 4-tire change. They talked about making a minor track bar adjustment, but they decided against that. Gone with just air pressure adjustment to try and loosen the car up a little bit to free it up for him, to give him a shot at chasing down Matt Kenseth. And they've just, Jimmy Makar warned him the air pressure is low, so be careful going out on the racetrack. To Dr. Jerry Punch.
Bill Elliott in for his final pit stop. Awesome Bill getting some good pit work on the right side. Now crew scampering to the left side. A high-speed ballet, 4 tires, fill it full of fuel. No adjustments other than a slight air pressure change. It's full of gas. Get those lug nuts tight. Drop the jack, and Bill Elliott is away.
And we're seeing more cars come down pit road. Here comes Scott Pruitt, Jimmy Spencer, Michael Waltrip. Steve Park is on pit road as the crew gets left side tires on and sends him back on his way.
Tony Stewart has made his pit stop.
Jimmy Spencer finding his pit box. Crew goes to work on the right side of the Big K Kmart Ford. Here comes Matt Kenseth, as this could again be a very critical pit stop for this young rookie who has dominated this race on the racetrack. Jerry?
28-year-old Matt Kenseth from Cambridge, Wisconsin. Could he become just the next Wisconsin driver since the late Alan Kowicki to win in Winston Cup competition? A lot of pressure on this young crew. Jeff Vandermoss, the Jackman, now scampers on the left side. Front tire being changed by Phil Dry. Ben Leslie on the rear tire. 13 seconds, 14. They've had 15 second stops. He is down the way. 17.2 seconds for the final stop, they hope, of the day for the DeWalt Ford of Matt Kenseth.
I always thought Bobby Labonte had a 15-second stop, so he gained 2 seconds. Here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. making his pit stop. Bill Weber.
And a great move by Dale Earnhardt Jr. with Tony Uri Sr. coaching him to avoid the 43 that was leaving its stall to get into his. Earnhardt Jr.'s had a good run. They've done very little to this car in the last half of the race. This is just 4 tires and fuel. Mark Martin's been on pit road. He's got his tires and fuel. Little hang up on the left front. The 8 will follow the 6 off pit road. The 99 heads to his stall.
Jeff Burton comes down at 55 miles an hour. Down toward turn number 1, and this seems like an eternity to these drivers. Finally, he hits the box and the team goes to work. Bill?
This is a big stop for them. They will make a chassis adjustment to try and improve the handling of that Exide Ford. Right sides are already on. Again, these are the final scheduled stops under green. Left side tire is going on, but they have a little problem with the left front fender on that car. They bang it in as they change the tires. Burton smokes him, and he heads off pit road.
That was an 18.2 second pit stop. Here is 8th and 9th. Ricky Rudd and Tony Stewart going at it. Matt Kenseth is back in the lead after all these pit stops have occurred, with Bobby Labonte running in second position. And Rusty Wallace is going to be shown in third. We'll have more live coverage here on ABC Sports in just a moment of the NAPA Auto Parts 500 from California Speedway. 9 Not to drive 55 today. Can Matt Kenseth add his face to the number of winners in the year 2000 and make it number 10? Well, he's looking pretty good right now. He's got almost a 4-second advantage on Bobby Labonte and has been pulling away in the last few laps, BP.
Well, right now he's caught some slower cars, not slow cars. Kevin LePage, thefamilyclick.com. We've seen him out there running awfully well today, trying to stay in the lead lap. Matt finally puts him a lap down, which allowed Labonte to gain a little bit on Matt Kenseth.
3.5 seconds now separate first and second, and back in third spot is Rusty Wallace. There's a 12 car of Jeremy Mayfield. What's the update on Jeremy, who's currently running fourth?
Well, Bob, Jeremy Mayfield is really struggling in that race car. It's very hot here today in California, perhaps the hottest race day of the year. But remember, he had that oil temperature problem early in the race. The last report was it was 320 degrees. On lap 189, Peter Suspenza asked his driver, should we get you a relief driver? Jeremy said, no, just get me as much ice as you can and give that to me when we pit. They were also going to hook up an extra air hose to blow more air into the car. Jeremy said that's not necessary, just give me the ice. But now, 10 laps after that pit stop, he continues to struggle. What he's doing is he's watching for race cars he can follow around the track. He was following Ricky Rudd earlier, but then when Rudd pitted, Jeremy was on his own. That's why Jeremy came in on the following lap. One other thing they've told their spotter, talk to him as much as possible.
He's probably burning up or burning being in his back area. In a NASCAR Winston Cup stock car, the oil tank is right behind the seat. The seat's made out of aluminum. Normally, your oil temperature runs about 220 to 230 degrees. If that's running at 320 degrees, it's probably like putting a blowtorch on the back of that aluminum seat.
And Kenny Schrader, who was running in third position, but now comes in for a pit stop. And Schrader a little bit off sequence here. And on the racetrack, a battle for the 6th position between Mike Skinner and Tony Stewart.
See Ricky Rudd right in front of these cars in the 5th position. This battle is going on about 15 seconds behind the leader, Matt Kenseth.
Having a good race here this afternoon in 5th position. And another good battle is for the 8th position between Bill Elliott and Jimmy Spencer.
Both these guys have had very good runs today. Jimmy Spencer in the Kmart car started on the outside pole, currently in the 9th position. Elliott, McDonald's car in 8th.
Both of these drivers have led here this afternoon. Spencer has been out front for 6 laps, and Elliott led once. This nice wide racetrack again allows for a lot of different lines and lanes to drive in.
And they can drive around this racetrack and not be concerned about having to lean up against someone and hit someone to run a different line. And that's one reason we don't see many caution flags at this racetrack, because it is so wide.
Elliott is driving a brand new car here this weekend. And it's working well for him. Started back in the 27th position and currently is in 8th. And Matt Kenseth has just won the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps here this afternoon. Well, Saturday on ABC, the PGA Tours in the Big Easy. Jack Nicklaus, Super Hot Hal Sutton, and Davis Love III head the field at the Compact Classic of New Orleans. That's Saturday at 2:30 Eastern Time, 3 Pacific on ABC Sports. Back up front, Matt Kenseth is leading in his 16th NASCAR Winston Cup race. Back here, however, a battle for the 10th spot. Make that the 11th position between Ward Burton and Dale Jarrett. And just ahead of these two, the other Burton, Jeff. Right behind them, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Mark Martin. Here's the roof cam for Mark Martin. By the way, we want to mention that Dan Gurney, who won 5 NASCAR Winston Cup races at Riverside, was honored this weekend with the first annual Shab Glick Award. Now, Shab Glick, of course, a longtime Los Angeles Times sports reporter. You can see it there on the right. Congratulations to Dan Gurney. The first annual Shab Glick Award awarded to Gurney, which is going to honor those who have significantly contributed to auto racing in the Southern California area. And we take our hat off to Dan Gurney, who not only was a winner in Winston Cup, but in any division that he tried, including Formula One. Congratulations, Dan Gurney. And the 88, no, it's another car in the wall up here in turn number 4. It is Jimmy Spencer. Spencer going very slowly. The caution flag is out for only the 4th time this afternoon.
And Matt Kenseth certainly did not want to see this caution flag.
Doesn't look like anybody is going to attempt to get a lap back. Wally Dallenbach was the most likely to. There he is in that green car in the bottom of the track, but did not make it back to, well, some damage there on the right side of Spencer's car.
He's made awfully hard contact with the wall. And boy, Ray, what a break for Dale Jarrett. He was going to have to make another pit stop for at least a splash and go.
Benny, he was going to, by our calculation, be about 4 laps short, so it is a big break for him.
I see Jimmy Spencer as he comes up on the outside and just gets the car a bit loose and the outside retaining wall. It doesn't take but just get that in that gray area about 2 feet, and all that loose debris, sand, rubber that's going off these other cars, and you're in the outside retaining wall.
There's just not a lot of grip in that gray. Now, what we'll see on pit road, I wouldn't want to be in Robbie Reiser's shoes. Everybody's going to pit. Are you going to do 4? Are you going to do 2? He's got a real fast car. He's probably going to want to keep 4 tires on it. Some guys are going to go ahead and do 2 because they haven't been on their left sides that long, and track position with just about 30 laps left is going to be important. They did, Robbie Reiser and Matt Kenseth did win the Busch race yesterday by putting 4 tires on them.
Again, a very, very important time of the race coming up here for Matt Kenseth and the Robbie Reiser team. We're going to see if those relative newcomers to the series are going to shape up to the experienced pit crew members on the Bobby Labonte.
Watch him, he's trying to beat Labonte to the timeline, and he did. He's able to gain a few car lengths on Bobby Labonte. Good move, Mike Kenseth.
Down to John Kernan.
Bobby Labonte is in for what we anticipate to be a 4-tire change, just a little bit of fuel. They don't want to fill it up completely because it'll tighten the car up too much, and they've gone back down on the air pressure to what they were originally running. To Jerry Punch and Kenseth's pit.
3/4 round turn on the track bar, a little bit loose. Matt said, guys, I'm dependent on you. I believe in you. Got to keep me out front. It is tough to pass here. Labonte is out. Left side tires on the DeWalt Ford for Matt Kenseth. Top of the left rear. Now he's down and away.
Looks like Jeremy Mayfield, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Burton, Ward Burton, and Matt Kenseth.
Down to Bill Weber.
Jeremy Mayfield and Peter Suspenza talked it over. 2 right side tires, no fuel. 2 tires, he's gone. Good stop. We'll see what happens.
With just 30 laps to go, it may have been a good move for the Jeremy Mayfield team. It has definitely given them track position. Matt Kenseth's crew did a great job getting him in and out.
Watch the car go down pit road.
All right, with less than 30 laps to go now here in the Napa Auto Parts 500. Back to our Wide World of Sports studio in New York. Here's your host, Robin Roberts. Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, Ray Evernham, Bill Weber, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch back with you at California Speedway. 221 of the 250 laps in the Napa Auto Parts 500 have been completed. Lots of moments in the NASCAR 2000 season. This one brought to you by Home Depot. Here's Bill Weber.
Bob, we're down here in Jeremy Mayfield's pit, and we always talk about the amount of money involved in these race teams, the sponsorship dollars, the amount of money they spend on race cars, on equipment here on pit road, on the radios, on the fire suits for safety. Well, take a look at Jeremy Mayfield's last pit stop. Here comes his expensive car and that expensive set of tires. They're going to use 2 of them, but the most valuable asset in this pit stop may have been what they hand to him through the window. Not only did he just get 2 right side tires, but he got 2 bags of ice and a fresh drink. That may be more important to the tires because we talked about how the oil temperature is 320 degrees, and Ray Evernham pointed out how his back is burning up. This ice chest and this ice may be the big key to Jeremy Mayfield being able to finish this race. A gutsy 2-tire call may also play into the strategy down the stretch. We'll see what happens with the 12 car. Good luck to them. To John Kernan.
And a very disappointed Jimmy Spencer. Jimmy had a great race car today, trying to follow up that top 5 finish at Talladega 2 weeks ago. What happened?
I don't know, John. Running really good. You know, the last run before this one, we loosened the car a little too much and got back 10th or 11th spot. And we adjusted back where we were, and we were actually as fast as we needed to be to get a top 5 again. But just went down in the corner there behind Bill Elliott, and just broke loose. I don't know if something broke or hit a wheel. As quick as it went around, it just feels like something hit a wheel or something like that. I don't really know. I mean, I'm very upset. Kmart car's running really well, but I hope this doesn't dampen their spirits. I hope it didn't dampen mine any. We'll look forward to next week.
They had a great car today, but unfortunately, his day is done, Bob.
Still under caution. We'll take a quick break and be back for more racing in the Napa Auto Parts 500. Stay with us. Back at the California Speedway, where the green flag is out and Jeremy Mayfield has taken the lead. Mark Martin was the leader when we dropped the green, but Mayfield has gone to the front. Now, Mark Martin did not make a pit stop during that recent caution period. Jeremy Mayfield took on 2 tires. Right now, Rusty Wallace has moved into 2nd position, so the Penske team is looking strong here, running 1st and 2nd. And a big gaggle of cars back here, including Matt Kenseth, who was the leader.
And now Matt Kenseth is hung on the bottom line, and cars going bottom on the outside. Oh, he's trying to go to the outside now, but he can't. There's still a car on the outside.
And a car on the inside, too, and that is Bobby Labonte, with whom he is racing for the 6th position. Takes 6th, and now Kenseth comes under fire from Tony Stewart and Ricky Rudd and Mike Skinner. 4 deep here at the start-finish line.
And wisely, Mike Skinner backed off because there was just no room on the bottom.
Less than 23 laps to go in this one. Jeremy Mayfield, the leader, has only won 1 NASCAR Winston Cup race. That was at Pocono in June of '98. So he could continue this streak of 10 different winners. From this caution period.
Tony Stewart trying to get on the inside of Ricky Rudd. But now Rudd gets a little loose, get in the corner. Tony Stewart will take that position away. Oh, slides up right in front of Ricky Rudd. Battle for the 8th position. Still Jeremy, Rusty, Mark Martin in front.
Fastest car on the racetrack is Bobby Labonte that last lap. coming back in 5th position. Here is Bobby trying to take another position away from Jeff Burton. The battle for the 4th. And Burton battles back on the outside. He's got his brother Ward right behind him.
And Bobby Labonte, another car, just slides up right in front of Jeff Burton.
With 20 laps to go, Mayfield has a 1.5 second advantage. Now Matt Kenseth has worked his way out of that big traffic jam he was in and is in 6th. But look at Ward Burton trying to take 6th away from Matt. And
Yeah, there you go. Clear all around. Doesn't give up.
Now Tony Stewart's going to look on the inside of Kenseth.
And Rudd will go high.
Things have just turned into a disaster for Matt Kenseth. Looks like he had everything in hand.
His car was very, very good in clean air when he could run the line that he wanted. The other cars now obviously have upset the handling of that car.
Meanwhile, Jeremy Mayfield has about a 1.5 second lead on Rusty Wallace.
We have on so many different occasions seen drivers who are not either feeling well or have had a problem physically in the car come back to win the race. We remember Ricky Rudd doing it at Martinsville. Well, Jeremy Mayfield has a hot back because of an oil cooler problem, but he is in the lead looking for victory. In the NAPA Auto Parts 500, we have 14 laps to go, and Jeremy Mayfield has a 2-second advantage on Bobby Labonte. Labonte and Jeff Burton are contesting 2nd place there, with Burton running way up high and Labonte down low.
Way up high, way up high I think would be not be an exaggeration. He's almost running the outside retaining wall. He's running so high.
Ward Burton has moved up to 4th, and Kenseth on his comeback is now up to 5th.
What Jeremy Mayfield would love to see right now is Jeff Burton and Bobby Labonte get side by side and start racing and start worrying about each other instead of worrying about him.
And we'll see who's the fastest here.
The guy that's 2nd, Bobby Labonte.
Matt Kenseth 3rd. Ward Burton 2nd quick that last time around.
Bobby Labonte is a 2nd and 3/4, 1.7 seconds behind Jeremy Mayfield.
Mayfield comes down to complete lap number 238.
Matt Kenseth that time.
Kenseth with the fastest lap, but 2 1/4 seconds behind.
And Bobby Labonte gained 2/100ths of a second with only 12 laps to go. Obviously, he's got to gain some more. Kenseth on the outside of Ward Burton, almost some contact off 2.
But he got him. Moved Kenseth up to 4th. But he's 2 1/4 seconds back, and the laps are winding down, as they say.
Just not enough time. I think Kenseth maybe can pass these 2 cars here, Jeff Burton and Bobby Labonte, but certainly not. Oh, look at that time. Labonte gained almost 1/4 second, down to less than 1.5 seconds.
Kenseth the fastest that last time. Jeff Gordon 2nd quick, and Labonte was 3rd. Here's Tony Stewart trying to take away the 9th position from Mark Martin. And Dale Jarrett is right there in 11th. We have 10 laps to go in the NAPA Auto Parts 500. Now Ricky Rudd and Ward Burton contest for 5th position.
Getting close, 1 second and 1/3. He gained another 2/10 almost that time, Jerry Punch.
You've got to admire this young rookie driver, Matt Kenseth. Just a moment ago, the spotter telling him, the crew chief, Robbie Reiser, telling him, we've got something for him. We're running out of laps, running out of time. You got to let go what you got to go with. Matt Kenseth believes, and this team believes, that there is enough time. Guys, less than 10 laps. There may not be enough, but he's coming right now with all he's got, and he's coming in a hurry.
Yeah, he's to the inside of the third place car of Jeff Burton up in the fourth corner, but Burton holds off the advance for the moment as there are now 9 laps left.
And meanwhile, these guys gained another 2/10 of a second on Jeremy Mayfield. Jeremy Mayfield he hopes and prays that Kenseth can catch Bobby Labonte. If he can, it might allow him to win the race. But first, Kenseth has got to get by Jeff Burton.
And he's been unable to do so, taking a couple of looks, but not able to pull off the pass. And once again, we see Labonte and Burton running, Kenseth running at the bottom of the track, and Jeff Burton up high. Now Burton looks like he's ready to challenge. Oh, we have a crash up in turn 4. Crash in turn 4. Car high and hard into the outside wall. I believe it is Dick Trickle. It is, and this brings out another caution, and again we see the entire complexion of the race change with 8 laps to go.
So there is going to be a restart. And these guys are racing back to the line. Right behind them, Jeff Burton and Bobby Labonte. Battling for that second spot. It's going to be Labonte down to the line.
Here they come off of corner number 4. As Jerry Nadeau passes by Jeremy Mayfield to try to get a lap back, and does. Let's take a look at the wreck up in turn number 4.
There's Dick Trickle, the Power Team Chevrolet, just gets loose behind John Andretti, goes up and bam, in that wall hard.
Jeffrey Bodine scheduled to take over the car at Richmond next weekend after his injuries at Daytona. Back in a moment. Less than 6 laps to go here in the Napa Auto Parts 500. The Pennzoil Copter Cam showing you the huge crowd that has gathered here today, and also the field that is behind the pace car under caution because of a Dick Trickle accident up in the 4th corner. Well, the Visa Triple Crown Challenge begins with the 126th running of the Kentucky Derby, and you can see it live on ABC Sports at 4:30 Eastern Time, 1:30 Pacific next Saturday. The Run for the Roses, and you can only see it here on ABC. Well, the drivers are being given the 1 to go signal. And let's see, they will get it with 5 laps to go. We'll make that 4 laps to go.
You see the finger pointing down. That means this will be a single file restart. All the cars on the lead lap. And right now we have 20 of them will line up nose to tail. All the other cars behind them.
Down to Bill Weber.
With Peter Suspenza back in Jeremy Mayfield's pit. First of all, how is your driver?
He's a little hot, but he knows he only have a few more laps to go, so he's ready to go.
This caution hurt you a little bit. You had the 25 and a little bit of track space.
We'll find out about 4 laps, won't we?
Peter, 2 tough weeks for you guys. Did you come in here on a mission?
We've really been on a mission all year long. You know, that's what we've been. We've been able to race up front week in and week out, and we proved it today.
We'll see what happens if Jeremy Mayfield can hang on to John Kernan.
And I'm with Bobby Labonte, second place runner's crew chief, Jimmy Maycar. Jimmy, you guys took 4 tires, 2 tires only for the 12. Can Bobby catch him and pass him?
Well, I hope so. You know, anything can happen here at the end. We don't have too many laps to go. Just has to run 4 really, really good laps. We were a little faster than the whole last run with our 4 tires. He just got out to a good-sized lead. Hopefully we'll get an opportunity to take a run at him and see what happens.
Now to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Matt Kenseth telling his crew he's apologizing. He said, guys, I'll do my best. I know we want to win this thing, but the car is tight in the center. I'm having trouble breaking it loose coming off. I cannot stay in the throttle like the guys in front of me can, but I will do my best. Crew Chief Robbie Reiser said, we've still got a better car. You got a shot. Go out there and win it for us.
This is going to be fun here for the next 4 laps.
Is this the most nerve-wracking part of a race for a crew chief, Ray? 4 laps to go.
It really is. There's Robbie Reiser and that crew sitting there with the best car all day. a caution flag comes out, changes the complexion of the whole race. You're sitting there, do I take 2, do I take 4? He does the right thing, takes 4 tires, and right now he's got a tough job ahead of him.
Neal gets set for the restart. Getting the tires cleaned off. Pace car pulls into the pits. 246 laps about to be completed. 4 to go in the NAPA Auto Parts 500. Here we go to determine who wins it.
Kenseth diving to the inside. Jeff Burton takes his ball away. Here comes Roy Burton on the inside.
Jeff Burton loses several spots, and up front we see Bobby Labonte to the inside of Jeremy Mayfield out of turn number 2. They head up and down the backstretch with Mayfield still maintaining the advantage, but Kenseth is there in 3rd. Ricky Rudd has come up to 4th. Mayfield enjoys about a 4-car length separation on Bobby Labonte as they head off of quarter number 4 and complete lap 247. 3 to go. Down to Bill Weber.
Jeremy Mayfield's ignition box shut off going into turn 1. He switched to the backup and got back in the gas and took off.
Wow. And did he ever take off? Look at this. The last time off turn 2, they were side by side. This time, he has a 10-car length advantage.
And some spots being swapped back here behind the leaders. That's Rusty Wallace and Ward Burton going at it with Mike Skinner and Tony Stewart also battling. Now Matt Kenseth closes in on the 2nd place car of Bobby Labonte. It becomes a 4-mile race. 2 to go.
Kenseth is trying something. He's trying to highline, see if he can get some advantage up there, but he lost time. But you got to admire the kid for trying something different. I think he realized he couldn't run in the same tracks as Bobby Labonte and beat him.
Jeremy Mayfield's crew wringing their hands, hoping that they can bring home a winner here this afternoon. Mayfield comes down and looks at the white flag. 1 lap to go, and we got a crash in turn 4. A spin, that's Robbie Gordon. I don't think he's hit anything yet. Now he does. On the very final lap of the race, a spin with Robbie Gordon, but he's able to bring it down off the racetrack and continue. There is a caution, however, and Jeremy Mayfield is going to race back to the flag. It's still not over yet because the leader did not take the caution flag. It happened behind him. The battle appears to be for 2nd spot as Kenseth once again closes in on and heads to the high side of Bobby Labonte. But Labonte down low is able to stave off that challenge. They come off of corner number 4. And Jeremy Mayfield wins his 2nd NASCAR Winston Cup race, and it comes at the California Speedway in the NAPA 500. He becomes the 10th different winner in the year 2000, 1 shy of the overall modern era record of 11 set back in 1985, but it continues a streak for 10 different winners in the first 10 races of the season. What a victory lane this is going to be, and we'll be there with Jeremy when we return. The winner of the NAPA Auto Parts 500 at California Speedway is Jeremy Mayfield. Down to our McDonald's Winner's Circle interview. Here's Dr. Jerry Punch.
It has been 22 months and 61 races since Jeremy Mayfield achieved his first victory. And Jeremy, win number 2. The high fives all around. First of all, I got to ask you, we know the heat was oppressive. How's your back?
Burn up. Old Tim running like something in the old gauge or something in the old tank messed it up, and wasn't Mobile 1, I can tell you that. If we didn't have that in there, we wouldn't have made it. Just burned my back, my seat got hot, and then just got burned up. I'm blistered up, I'm sure my foot's burning, but you got to suck it up sometime, and that's when the best people come out, and we needed this worse than anything in the world. And this team's strong, and we've been on our way, and we ain't been running nothing, I can tell you that. We don't need nothing, you know what I mean?
Problem after problem, Jeremy. The restart, the ignition box goes out.
Yeah, it went off into one, and trying to get a good run on Mark, and I didn't know what happened. It just quit running, and then all of a sudden, I just grabbed for the box, and it took off, and there it went. Hey, you told me, dude. I told you we were going
Penske Kranifus, people. Here's Michael Kranifus, Walt Zarnicki coming up.
I think Mobile One, too, man. They've stuck with us forever, and Penske engines, everybody at the shop, you know, we've worked hard, been through a lot, and this guy here.
Car owner Michael Kranifus coming up.
Pretty awesome.
The last couple of weeks have been very difficult. Does this help a whole lot with what you guys have been going through?
Yeah, it helps a lot. You know, we've been through a lot, like I said, and come here and we've been close and and we knew we could do it, man. This is a great car, and we come back and won. This is my best car, number 9 right here.
Hey, go celebrate. You are the winner.
Thank you.
Jeremy Mayfield, career victory number 2, comes in the 4th annual NAPA Auto Parts 500. He wins from 24th starting spot, overcoming heat and the competition as Mayfield is in victory lane. Back in a moment.
Celebration continues in victory lane as Jeremy Mayfield has experienced his 2nd NASCAR Winston Cup victory at the California Speedway here today. Well, the race ended under caution, and it did because of an incident up in turn number 4 on the very last lap of the race. Robbie Gordon was running beside Wally Dallenbach, and the car got sideways. Thought he was going to save it, BP, but he didn't.
Looked like he had his save right there. Oh, man, what a fantastic job it did. And then it goes around the other direction. Stacy Compton just barely gets by and comes down off the wall in luck, and no other cars hit him.
There were many stars today, but certainly one of them was a driver who led the most laps, a rookie in Winston Cup competition, Matt Kenseth. He finished 3rd.
A rookie who drives like a veteran. Yesterday in victory lane, you told me you never know when you're going to win another one of these. You almost did today.
Yeah, too bad almost doesn't count here, but the Dwell guys did a really good job. I was proud of them today. You know, they really turned the program around. This was the most prepared we've ever been for a race from the minute we came off the lift gate of the truck till they put it on here in about an hour. So this is the most prepared we've ever been. So I'm real proud in that aspect, but I'm real disappointed in another one. You know, we had the car to win a race, I felt like, all day, and didn't win it. So, you know, that's real disappointing on one hand, but, you know, on the other hand, it's real positive, you know, how good we ran.
You prepared yourself not to win in the car?
I sat in there all day planning on losing because I just knew something was going to happen. And the minute I thought we were home free, sure enough, there was a yellow. So we had a big enough lead, had a good enough pit stop. I was really just taking it real easy on the tires and not really running hard, and had a 4 or 5 second lead on Bobby there. And they could all keep up for 15 or 20 laps, and then we drive away. So if there wouldn't have been a caution, we would have been good, but there was, so we weren't.
Congratulations on a great run, though, and we'll see you at Richmond.
Thanks, Bill.
That's Matt Kenseth. Let's check in on the point leader with John Kernan.
And with his 2nd place finish today at California, Bobby Labonte moves into the lead by 20 points. Bobby, close, no cigar. Couldn't chase down Jeremy in those final few laps, huh?
No, I tried to make a move on the outside there, and he kind of let off the gas on me, and it scared me because I thought I was going to make the move, and he kind of blocked the outside a little bit there and didn't block it, just was going to go that way. Kind of bogged the car down trying to get low, but it was a good race for the Interstate Pontiac. The guys did a great job. We struggled since we got here. We qualified 36. We had to 2nd round qualify to even do that, and got lucky. A couple guys didn't get to go as fast because they screwed up or something like that. So very fortunate we're able to come home 2nd, and just one of those days. We, you know, I don't know if we needed any more laps. We just needed, you know, a little bit better race package. The 12 car was better than us, and the 17 car had the best car all the day. Matt, hated to see a good win tainted away from him because he definitely had the car to win all day.
Bobby Labonte, though, with the 2nd place finish, moves back into the points lead, Bob.
By 20 over Mark Martin, and only 2 stayed the same in the point standings. Okay. Just Ward Burton staying in 3rd and Dale Jarrett in 6th, but everybody else moved either up or down in the point standings. And going to Richmond, Bobby Labonte goes to the points lead. Next Sunday, ABC Sports continues its coverage of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs with conference final action. Check your local listings. ABC, the home of the Stanley Cup. Back in just a moment.